Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Jay Randall, and on this channel, I discuss wisdom for the modern man. You know the spiel. Well, today, guys, this is my second live stream for the day. Had to take a quick nap and relax, but I'm all fired up and ready to go. Today, guys, well, for this live stream, I'm going to be reacting to a quite a lengthy clip from the YouTube channel Back to the Roots. All right, I'm going to link them in the description. So for those of you guys who are unaware of their channel, they do really good clips, lengthy clips from debates, and they're just the part of the debate that you really want to see. And I really like watching their channel because it skips out all the fluff, all the parts you don't want to listen to, and gets to the meat of the debate. So I'm going to be using their clips from their channel for a lot of my reaction videos, and I'm going to link them in the description to give them some credit. But thank you guys if you're tuning in for the second live stream. If you haven't watched the first one, after this one, you should probably go check that one out. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams moving forward. So I wanted to kick off today with two. I'll be doing one tomorrow as well. But if you guys are just coming in, welcome, welcome. Please go ahead and leave a like on the video. I'm trying to grow the channel, trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers. And I'd really appreciate your guys' help with that. So without further ado, I don't want to take too long here. So we're going to get right into the video. Today's video, we are going to be watching a debate between Andrew Wilson and a male feminist. Now, I think this is very important because a lot of these male feminists, oh, I forgot to mention, he's going to be debating him about modern dating and also the red pill. Now, Andrew Wilson he's not a red pill content creator. He's not. He interacts with them. He goes on their podcast, and he does have certain agreements with the red pill, but because he is a Christian and he is a traditional conservative, some things are not in alignment. So he agrees with a lot of their descriptions, but not a lot of their prescriptions. In other words, he agrees with a lot of their realizations and conclusions, but not as, when it comes to male feminists, there's so many things wrong with them. It just comes off as such a grift and just dishonest and just not genuine. But this individual, because I've seen a little bit of this, I didn't see the whole thing, but as soon as I watched like 20 minutes, I knew I wanted to do a reaction to it. So I watched about 20 minutes of this, and this guy has just a horrible take on what the red pill is and what it teaches. And he begins to conflate incel and the red pill and thinks they're the same thing. So he's saying there's all these incels and they're not dating and they can't get relationships, and then he's conflating that with the red pill and that they're one and the same. But I don't want to go on too long. I want to get into the debate, let you guys hear it for yourselves. But it's just very problematic with these male feminists and these individuals who try to categorize the red pill as being hurtful towards men and keeping them depressed, keeping them hopeless. It's like men like myself are giving them some hope, right? And we're helping them avoid the red flags out here in dating. But, we're going to get more into that with the video. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Raphael, you said that the manosphere exploits male pain, and by extension, I suppose you would say Andrew exploits male pain, but offers no real healing. Can you just specify how, I guess?
Yeah, so a lot of Andrew's rhetoric and content that he pushes is basically, again, demonizing women, demonizing feminism, which makes a lot of the men less willing to date women, and that's why a lot of people in the red pill community are not dating women, because they actively see them as adversaries. They actively see them as the enemy, and I think a lot of red pill community pushes that message.
Just one clarifying question.
Yeah.
Even if that is what he was doing, can you just for the prompt, can you just explain how he's exploiting male pain?
You see how that started off? Like, I want to actually listen to that again because He, oh my gosh, that was such a miscategorization of what the red pill does. So we're going to back that up a little bit because I want to hear him say that again. So we just really understand his stance on the topic of red pill.
Pushes that message.
Just
So
one
let's
clarifying question.
Yeah.
Even if that is
Back
what
that
he...
up. There we go.
Raphael, you said that the manosphere exploits male pain, and by extension, I suppose you would say Andrew exploits male pain, but offers no real healing. Can you just specify how, I guess?
Yeah, so a lot of Andrew's rhetoric and content that he pushes is basically, again, demonizing women, demonizing feminism, which makes a lot of the men less willing to date women. And that's why a lot of people in the red pill community are not dating women, because they actively see them as adversaries. They actively see them as the enemy. And I think a lot of red pill community pushes that message.
Just one...
Okay, there you go. Already he's wrong. We just started a few seconds in and he's wrong. People in the red pill are absolutely dating women. We're just not dating certain kinds of women. The thing is, he's upset because he mentioned we're not dating feminism. We demonize feminism. We're not demonizing it. We're pointing out the flaws in the system, the flaws in the thinking, the inconsistencies, and the negative outcomes long term. So no, we're not just opting out of dating women altogether. Some men are pulling back because women nowadays are feminists. So there's not a lot of women who don't fall into that, category to choose from. So the best thing to do is avoid dating these women. And even if that means, not dating for a while, just being more selective until you find a woman worth dating. But no, we're not just, opting out of dating altogether. We're just being very selective with who we date. We're still into women, still attracted to women. We're just being very selective, because if you get with a woman and she's not in alignment, you guys are going to break up anyway. And a man takes majority of the loss when that happens. But let's listen to more of what he has to say.
Clarifying question.
Yeah.
Even if that is what he was doing, can you just for the prompt, can you just explain how he's exploiting male pain?
Yeah, so I think the more riled up and angry that the audiences are, the more money people make. That's how I think that's the exploitation.
I make the most amount of money during chill streams.
Okay, but it's normally angry men that follow these podcasts.
Well, I thought you just said the angrier they are, the more money I make.
Right.
Okay.
Because keeping them angry, they're going to stay around longer.
Okay.
So yeah, there's another misconception, and I made a video about this recently. And she was saying very disturbing things about cheating in her relationship and how much women were supporting it. And I made that video to show that it's not red pill men who are making men angry. Men are already angry. Women are already putting out that kind of content, and men are seeing it. And they're coming to the realization, but he's painting it as though we are fueling their anger or their unhappiness. We're not. It's women. We're just giving them perspective. Feminists like him are just saying, disregard those problems and just date women anyway, which is only going to lead to more unhappy men. It's better that they pull back and not date certain women, and then when they do find a woman worth dating, it actually works out and it's actually, a happy relationship, as opposed to dating a feminist. But, I watched 20 minutes of this, so I already know what he's going to say, but I know you guys haven't watched this yet, or maybe you have. So I'm going to let it play out so you understand exactly where his mindset is coming from.
So, let's. Do you think that like Joe Rogan, for instance, that he makes all of his money off of angry men?
Not necessarily, but I'm not talking about Joe.
Well, I thought you just said that you make more money if the audience is angry.
The red pill community.
Oh, it's specific to the red pill. Okay. So just to make sure that I got this right, I'm doing this.
I think you are. I think Fresh and Fit
Yeah,
are.
but let's just start with me because I'm here.
Okay.
So what am I doing that's riling up men and making them upset?
You continue to demonize women, and that
You're pointing out the truth. That's basically what his argument is. You're pointing out the truth, and as a byproduct of that, you're making men angry. But that's wrong. It's them coming to the realization that they were lied to, that women aren't what they thought they were. And yeah, there's going to be that moment that men have where they're just like, upset that they weren't aware of this reality. But I'm going to go back because I know I kind of butted in there. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to talk as much, but it's just so false.
I think you are. I think Fresh and Fit
Yeah,
are.
but let's
I
just
think
start with
Andrew Tate
me
are.
because I'm here.
Okay.
So, what am I doing that's riling up men and making them upset?
You continue to demonize women, and that gets your audience
Do I
excited.
demonize women or do I demonize feminists?
Both.
Okay, how do I demonize women?
Bruh.
You say some pretty nasty things about them, and I've watched a lot of your podcasts. And if you're going to deny it, that's fine. But you
Yeah,
do it.
okay, so I'm not going to deny that I crack jokes
They're
sometimes at the
jokes,
expense of
just
women.
like rape
Hang
is a
on.
joke.
At the expense of women, that's true, right? But no, I really don't demonize women as a group.
Do you call women a lot of names on your podcast?
I call usually a woman,
No. Do you call groups of women names?
like feminists, yes.
No, that's not a name. That's not a derogatory name, at least.
It is to me.
Well, of course it is. Because you hate feminism and
Yes.
you continue to demonize
Yes.
it, and you continue
Yes,
to
and I
demonize
will.
women, and you continue to demonize women on your podcast,
Do
just
you
like
think-
Fresh and Fit, just
do you
like Andrew
think- Do you
Tate.
think if men agree with me about the ideas that I have, right, that they want to date feminists?
I don't think they want to date women.
Yeah, they definitely.
Oh my gosh. So what, you think they're gay? Like, bro, yes, they want to date women. They just don't want to date women with certain ideologies because those ideologies aren't beneficial to men in a relationship. But your solution to men is just go date, regardless of the ships. We're the ones who have to pay for the first date, make the first move, all that stuff. And then when it fails, we take the biggest loss because the chick, she could just move on, find another sucker to play that role. So no, we're not wasting our time anymore. We're not wasting our emotions, our effort, our energy. We're pulling all the way back. And we're being very selective on who we date. But he thinks because we're doing that now, that it's because that there's not a lot of good women out there. And so we, instead of just, sifting through the trash and dating each one and finding out that they're trash, we've learned tips and strategies to identify the trash, avoid the trash, and just save our effort and energy for women that are actually worthwhile.
They want to date women.
They're not.
And they're married. A lot of them are married.
Maybe on your individual channel, but not on this
Well,
podcast.
how am I riling up a fucking bunch of men to not
Because
get
you
married
also
when they're
come here.
married?
You also come here. This is a bigger audience in your channel.
Yeah, and guess where they move? To my channel.
Yeah, the angry men continue to move over to your channel.
Oh, okay. Where all the married men are.
Not all the married men.
Yeah, that's where. Listen.
Show me the breakdown
a lot
of
it
people.
is married
Show me the
men.
breakdown of people in your podcast that are married.
I bet you right now you're about to see a massive sound off of people
I
like
would
I'm
love to
married.
see it. All married people.
Switch over to the live chat. Watch this.
Holler in the chat.
We could
Switch,
do a
yeah,
poll.
put it up.
We could do a poll.
Though, but we could do it on the Crucible, and I guarantee you.
I also don't necessarily think that your poll is going to be accurate, but go for it.
Well, I agree. I literally, I do agree with that. But the thing is like YouTube has much better breakdowns.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah, if you had asked me, I would have actually sent that before the debate.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Fresh and Fit has that breakdown. I think this podcast has that breakdown. I think Andrew Tate has that breakdown. And I can tell you they're probably not married people.
Yeah, I demonize mostly feminists.
Podcast.
Why is it though that I have so many female followers?
You have so many.
I actually do. Yeah,
What's the percentage?
about 10% for my channel.
Whoa.
Surprisingly, I have a decent amount of female followers as well. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I'll have to look at my analytics again, but definitely more than I thought would be there. Because even when I started this channel, I anticipated 100% men do female advice. I feel as though giving women advice is kind of pointless. It's a very pointless endeavor because most of them do not want to change, and they don't change until it's too late. So wasting your time trying to give them wisdom is I feel like one of the most pointless, fruitful-less endeavors you can embark on. And I just feel like I was wasting my time. Because when I did start, I was kind of giving women advice a little bit, but then I quickly realized, after watching other content creators who just are dedicated to giving women advice, how they just reject it. They rage against it. It's like they want you to try to give them advice just so they could push back against it because they love to argue. But they don't actually want to listen and change their lives. Men, they actually want to change their lives. They listen to what you say, apply it, come back, and they say, oh my gosh, I did this, and things are so much better now. I have so many men who've messaged me, guys I've helped out in real life. They're just going to argue with you in the comment section. They just want to run their mouth, so I don't attempt to help them. If they get help as a byproduct of the video, fantastic. I love that. But back to my point, I just really wasn't expecting there to be that many women in the comment section. It's crazy. And yeah, so I could definitely see Andrew's point on that. It's more than I thought. I think certain women, I don't know if it's feminists who are watching it just to hate, because people do hate watch. People definitely hate watch. Or it might be conservative women who agree with the message. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have to do a poll on that and ask the women who follow this channel.
Do you know that YouTube is male dominant?
Red pill's male dominant.
No. YouTube. So TikTok is female dominant.
Okay.
It's like I think 70% women.
Okay.
Right? YouTube male dominant.
Okay.
Having a channel, right? Like most women's audience is men.
Yeah.
On YouTube. Okay. The fact that I have so many female followers is actually not common for a male podcaster. It's actually not common. Who are we talking about?
I'm talking about the red pill community.
Yeah, what am I doing, though, to exacerbate this problem of men hating women?
I've already explained that.
Yeah, not really. You just say sometimes I crack jokes about them.
I didn't say anything about jokes. You said jokes.
Yeah.
I said you demonize women.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing, too.
Oh my gosh, he's using the same female tactic. You notice he's using the word hate. They hate women. They hate women. I'll tell you what. Go into TikTok and look at the red pill content, and then look at the comment section, and what you see is a bunch of men who are tired of dating. What they're saying in the comment section is not reflection of hate or disdain. It's just, I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I can't go through this again. I'm sick of getting cheated on. I'm sick of getting lied to. I'm sick of getting used. I went through divorce. I would never do it again. It's mostly, if you just read the comments, a bunch of men who are just burnt out. They're tired of what they've encountered in the dating scene, and they're just done. They just want to be by themselves and just chill. Peace is what they're seeking. You hear it all the time. You know what? I found my peace after my last relationship. I would never do it again. I'm happy I found my peace and I'm good. I'm done with dating. Not hate. Now, I want you to go to the feminist videos on TikTok and go to their comment section. And then I want you to compare the two. You will see some of the most vile, disturbing, angry, malicious combo. And then I want you to compare the two, and you tell me which one sounds more like hate. Because one, to me, sounds like just men who are tired of what they encountered, who are being more selective, or are just choosing to be by themselves because they don't want to be hurt by women anymore. The others, the feminist side, that's hate. They will literally say, or I literally will say they hate men, like bluntly, just straight up. And their content, their comments don't get deleted. They don't get the videos taken down, which are very, very, push misandrous content. Go to the comment sections, guys, and see what the people are saying, because the red pill content does not sound like hate. The red pill responses from men, they sound like tired men who are sick of the games. The feminist content, you want to see real hate? Go check that out.
Jokes about Mexicans.
Yeah.
Am I demonizing?
Your audience could be pretty racist,
Am I
too.
demonizing
Your
them?
audience could be pretty racist,
Am I
too. I encountered them firsthand in our first debate.
Am I demonizing them? Mexicans?
Well, if you're riling up hate for Mexicans in your chat, then yes.
Because I got a lot of Mexicans in my chat.
Okay, good.
But if I'm making
Got a
Mexican
lot of
jokes,
Mexicans in the chat.
I didn't say
demon-
jokes.
Yeah.
You keep saying jokes.
yeah, because
no
they're
one else is
jokes.
saying jokes.
They're literally jokes.
They're literally jokes.
Tell me anything I've said about women broadly.
Think
that
of a
isn't
name.
joke.
Think of a name you possibly have called women. Think of any name you possibly have called a large group of women. Just think about it.
A large group or all women?
Is there
general.
a comma after large? Like, are you
What do you
saying
mean?
I'm saying like
large
like-
women?
No.
What?
I'm
What's the
saying-
word?
I'm saying women as a whole, as a generalization.
What?
Well, I don't
Where
think
I've
this-
said what?
I just don't think this is in good
Well,
faith.
why don't you say what you?
Yeah,
think
what
he
did I
said?
say?
Tell him what he
You call
said.
them sluts. You call them.
No.
Oh yes, you do.
No.
Oh yes, you do.
No. In fact, slut is not a word I say often. I'll call individual women skanks.
Okay.
I don't actually say slut.
Oh, skanks is such a funny joke.
Yeah, and no, that's not a joke to call an individual woman a skank.
You don't do it individually.
Yeah, I do.
Andrew. No,
when I
you
say
don't.
skank,
I've
yes, I
seen
do.
Your show.
Then give me one time.
I just did.
Okay, what?
I said you call them sluts.
I don't.
Okay.
So I say all women are sluts?
You said it before.
It's never happened.
I didn't say all women. I'm saying sluts. You just say sluts.
Saying the word
These are sluts.
So if there's two women and they both fucked 100 dudes, I can't say they're sluts?
Sure. Sure.
How is that demonizing women?
Is it saying nice things about women?
No, it's saying mean things about those two people.
Oh, so we have to just say nice things about women no matter what, no matter their conduct in society, no matter how they live their lives. We're not supposed to point out if they're actually a slut, if they're actually a whore, if they're actually promiscuous. We're not supposed to demonize that. Everything's acceptable. But I bet you there's plenty of things that he demonizes in men. If men were being degenerates or being cheaters or being manipulative, he would have no problem calling them out and calling them every name in the book to shame that behavior. But if we even point out or say anything about the female behavior, oh, you're not saying nice things. You know, these women have been having people, blow smoke up their butts their entire life, no matter what kind of behavior they do. And finally, for the first time, they're hearing some pushback on their disgusting lifestyles or their, messed up mindset. And now you want to come back and like, oh, you're being mean to women. You're being mean to women. It's like, no, they need to hear this. They need to hear this. And if you think that's being mean, I don't care. I'll say it. I don't care. We've been pandering to women for far too long, and things have gotten out of line. So if we need to push back, and if that means that you categorize me as being mean, sure, I'll call him a hoe. If the shoe fits, I'll say it. I don't have a problem with that.
People.
It's not talking about two people, Andrew. You generalize.
If there's two,
you generalize about women so much.
Oh
and
my
the fact
God.
that you won't even
Then
admit
you're
it
generalizing
is sad.
about, bro. You're generalizing
you generalize about
men.
women
You're
so
calling
much.
them incels.
And so do.
Why are you calling men incels?
I have studies that back up that they're incels.
Oh, you have. So do I need a study to back up that a chick who's banged 100 dudes is a slut?
No, you're talking about
No.
one person, but you're talking about generalizing all women. That's something you do constantly.
And I'm waiting
That's
for the
something that
example.
Fresh and Fit does. That's
Example.
something that
Give me
Andrew
the
Tate
example.
does. They generalize women.
I'm fucking right here. Tell me what I've said about all.
They generalize, but they also provide statistics that you just don't want to acknowledge. We provide a lot of statistics, a lot of data to back up the conclusions that we come to. There's the data, there's the statistics, and then there's the reportings of men. Like it or not, the red pill is quite a substantial, good data packet. When you have this many men who are out there and giving their experiences in dating, right? You're able to look at the data, the experiences of men, and see patterns. And these patterns are what we can use to inform us in our future decisions and our future, choices when it comes to dating women and dating certain women or not dating certain women or engaging in certain dynamics like marriage and relationships. We can say, well, man, majority of the men that I've spoken to, the majority of men that I've seen in society, and the statistics that I see show me that marriage and women win the custody battles for the kids. They get the alimony, they get the child support, and the man is left in a horrible state. And then now you have men who take to the internet and start making content telling about their experience in marriage, telling about how what the experience was like going through the court system and the divorce courts. And you can be able to take all that information and say, come to certain conclusions. So no, it's not just, generalization. Very good information that I would say is pooled within the red pill space. It's Andrew described it as a data packet, and I would agree with that. It's definitely a data packet. Now, is everything 100%, verified with statistics? No. But you can also see, you have your own eyes, you have your own experiences. You can look at society, you can look at the comments, that illusion by yourself.
Women.
The point is, I'm talking about the red pill community.
Tell me
I'm talking about the red pill community.
I do this.
I'm talking about
Yes,
and I did. And I've already said what you've done.
When?
But you're denying it for some
Well, tell me
fucking
when
reason.
I've ever said all women are sluts?
Do you want to go through all your damn podcasts, man?
You would think if I did it, you'd have an example since it was pertinent
I've
on your
seen
list.
you do it, so yes.
When?
I don't know, 2 weeks ago, Andrew. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I've watched
you
a
don't
lot of your
know.
bullshit. I've seen I've
Okay, I'll
heard
tell you
your
what.
voice so much.
I'll tell you what. This is fair. what type of content do I do?
Mostly political.
Mostly political.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the number one type of show that I do?
You do debates, but I say the topic you debate the most, if it's not Christianity, it's feminism.
So you think the most popular content on my channel is debates?
I think so.
Okay. Followed by political commentary.
Sometimes you have political debates as well. We had a political debate.
Yeah, I know, but you just said political. Most of my channel is political
I
commentary.
think you consider yourself a political commentator. That's what you say every time you introduce yourself.
Well, no, that's not what I say. I say I'm a political commentator and what?
I don't know what the and is. I don't
Political
know.
satirist.
Sure, politics, as I said.
Political satirist.
Okay, so
What is
am I
a
wrong about being
satirist?
political? Am I wrong about you being more political focused? Is that are you
Yeah.
making a different point
Well,
or
no, what I'm saying to you is that I don't actually think that you've watched my show.
I have? I've
I
also
don't think
been on
I don't
your
believe
show,
you,
Andrew.
Then what is the thing my show is the most famous for? The one show that we do that is the most famous thing we do.
Isn't it debating?
Nope, not even in
Then
the
what
same
is it?
universe.
Then what is it?
It's the TikTok invasions. That's
On
what
YouTube?
Yeah, that's what made us popular.
But maybe that made you popular at one point, but that's not what you're doing consistently. Every week you're mostly doing debates.
Every week, listen, I actually, many weeks, do less debates than I do invasions.
Okay, my point still stands.
And by the way,
that
political
the red
content,
pill
I barely
community-
do.
Do you deny that the red pill community demonizes women?
Yeah, but I want.
No. Answer the question.
I will.
No.
I wanna
Answer it
finish
now.
this.
No.
I wanna
No more
finish-
caveats. No.
I want to finish.
Does the red pill community demonize women?
Yeah, no. But I want
It
to finish
doesn't.
this. No,
It doesn't.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so. So I want to.
I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said that because it doesn't. It points out the truths that nobody wants to admit. In society, there's this thing where it's like, we're never supposed to show or uncover or mention anything that is unflattering to women, female nature. The dark aspects of how they move, no, we got to keep that covered up. We can't mention how they focus primarily on themselves. And we have these ideas that we put in place and that we have at framing women as all good. Women are caring, they're self-sacrificing, they're loyal, they have empathy, all this stuff, and we're just expected to just accept that as women as a whole. And no matter what we see in society, no matter what our general experiences are, we're not supposed to mention anything outside of that little bubble of women are good, women are great, women are wonderful. Bro, no. The thing is, the red pill is finally a group of men who are willing to say the truth. And the thing is, there's so much evidence backing what we say. It's just people like him are afraid to tarnish the female reputation, but women are tarnishing their own reputation. We're sitting back and we're looking at their actions. We're looking at how they treat men, looking at how they vote, looking at what they do in society, how they dress. We're looking at them as a whole. We're finally taking a reassessment of women, an objective lens, and just looking at them, observing how they behave, and coming to a conclusion. And the things we're coming to, unfortunately, don't look very nice. They're unflattering, but it's the truth nonetheless. But they just want us to be quiet, go back to viewing women as wonderful and loyal, and it's like, bro, that's just not reality.
Finish this real quick. Have you actually watched my show?
Yes.
When's the last time you watched it?
I don't know, but this week I obviously saw what you said to Pearl. I obviously saw what you said to that guy on the iPad.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have seen that on my channel.
Yeah,
you saw it on her
demonized.
channel.
You
saw it on,
demonized.
you saw it on her channel, right?
So did you demonize red pill communities this week on your channel or not?
I might. No, I don't think so.
When you call them degenerates?
I don't think I called red pillars degenerates.
You literally said red pill content creators are degenerates,
So,
including Myron Gaines.
remember-
You even said you had
Yeah,
disagreements
you
with Brian.
remember-
You even mentioned Brian by
Yeah.
name in that same
Yeah,
statement.
do you remember when I said that there's a difference between the red pill?
By name.
Yeah, so I'm talking about content creators.
That's the thing. These people are attached to the content creators. So the content creator is simply there to deliver the message, to make men aware, to wake them up to certain realities. But what feminists and individuals like him do, well, he's a male feminist, so I guess he falls under that as well, is that they look at the content creator and their life and the way they choose Because the red pill is just information. And then you take that information and apply it however you want to. Some men will choose to apply that to get as many women as possible and, have a rotation and, live that playboy lifestyle. Some men will choose to use that information to help them, be more selective and when it comes to vetting a wife. And want to live the playboy lifestyle. Some men want a girlfriend. Some men want multiple girlfriends. Some men want a relationship where it's open on their end, closed on the woman's end. Some men want to find a wife, and every guy has a different, wants and desires. So the data isn't telling you what you should do. The data is just saying, here are the tools to get whatever it is you want. And every man decides for himself how he wants to do it. So what they do is they look at the content creator and how they choose to use the data to get whatever they want for their lifestyle, and they run with that. It's like, no, you can't look at what the content creator is doing. I mean, you kind of can, but not really, because he's just a guy who chose to use the data differently. If you're a guy like myself, I chose to use the red pill to vet more strictly and to vet more who weren't worthy of a relationship and find one who was. And now I'm in a relationship and everything's going great. It's, it's wonderful. I'm getting all the things that I want. And I have no problems. But another guy might, like, I have a homeboy who I work with, and he goes to the club almost every week, like 2 days a week, and he's just pulls girls. And he gets a lot of girls, bro. He gets a lot of girls going out that much and just running volume. And he chose to use the red pill because he is red pill aware. Me and him talk all the time. But he's using it for a different purpose than I am. So it's up to you can't just hold content creators, accountable for everybody's actions. We are just giving people the information. They can choose what they want to do. Now, Andrew, where he comes into the red pill is that he can agree with, this does work. These red pill strategies work in getting certain women. These red pill strategies work in being more attractive. But that doesn't mean he agrees with how they choose to use the data. Like Andrew would disagree with a guy who wanted to use the red pill information to get a bunch of women and have a rotation. He would disagree with that, and he would call them, like he mentioned, degenerates. He would disagree with a guy who chose to use the red pill information to have a relationship that was open on his end, closed on the woman's end. He is a religious guy, conservative, right? So just because he acknowledges that the data itself is true and it works doesn't mean he agrees with how people use them. So, but he would also agree if a guy used the red pill information to vet a woman better, to weed out feminists, to weed out, promiscuous women or women who aren't traditional. And he would agree with a guy like me who chose to use the red pill to lock down a girlfriend and, who's moving towards a traditional, relationship dynamic. So, this guy is like really just taking the argument of him thinking red pillers are degenerates and just completely miscategorizing that. He's categorizing certain people who use the red pill in certain ways. A conservative Christian, so he's always going to view it through that lens. So if the red pill aligns with his conservative Christian values, then he's all for it. If it deviates from that, then no, he's not for it. It's simple.
Those are content creators.
That's not the red pill. The red pill's a descriptor.
You said red
packet.
pill content creators are degenerates. You're not talking about the packet being a degenerate. You're talking about the creators, right? So the creators are degenerates. So you mentioned Myron Gaines and you mentioned Brian by name.
I didn't. Yeah. So here's the thing. Again, if you're talking about red pill content creators, there's a lot more of them than fucking Brian.
But we're talking about
Myron.
the big ones. I don't care about the other ones. We're talking about the big ones. The one that had the most reach. We're talking about the ones that have the most reach, and that's these people. They have the most reach.
Okay. What matters is who's informing their opinions.
The content creators.
No. Who's informing the content creators' opinions?
I don't care. The content creators,
what matters.
No, they're disseminating the message. That's what matters.
No,
they're disseminating the message.
Disseminate
to
a message they're not getting.
It doesn't. They're disseminating a message. I don't care if you learned about Nazism through something else. If you're disseminating it, you're still disseminating
the thing is that if there's hundreds hundreds and hundreds of red pill content creators, which there are. All you're doing is pointing to 3 creators you don't like.
The biggest ones.
No, first of all, the combination of all other red pill creators would be bigger than these 3 biggest ones.
Okay, sure, but they're the biggest ones.
No, they're not. The combination of the message that you're talking
Then why'd
about.
you highlight those 2?
It's not the biggest.
Then why'd you highlight Myron
You
Gaines?
highlighted them.
You did on your own show.
And
we
when I
can
was
pull it up
debating
right
with
now.
Pearl,
You did.
I'll
I'm not
tell you
talking
why
about
when I
Pearl.
was
I'm
debating
not
with
talking about
Pearl.
Pearl. I'm talking about when you were talking to that guy on the iPad. You said your sound's low. Yeah, if you don't remember, it's because your lack of sleep. But you were talking to a guy. I think it was on Tuesday on your own show. You said red pill content creators are degenerates.
From his perspective of being religious and being Christian, yes, certain ones are degenerates, like Myron. Yeah, he called them degenerates. He wasn't shying away from the fact that he disagrees. He actively debated Myron on his stance when it comes to having multiple women and sleeping around, etc. Andrew has pushed back on individuals who chose to use the red pill in a way that goes against his religion. He's been very consistent. This guy hasn't seen enough of his content to really, or maybe he has and is just like being disingenuous, but Andrew has been consistent from the jump. He has pushed back on, I've seen him debate Playing with Fire on how he lives his life. He's called him a degenerate, Alex. He's called other individuals, red pillars degenerates. He's debated Myron. Bro, like, he's been very consistent. If you use the red pill to move towards a traditional relationship, he's all for it. If you use the red pill just to bang a bunch of chicks, he's not for it. Like, it's very simple. He's been very consistent. The fact that he's trying to like hold him to this as if it's like all or nothing. Either all of them are degenerates or all of them aren't. It's like, no. There's nuance to it.
I don't know what the context is.
It's literally that. There is no context.
Yeah,
Of course
there's
you're trying to
context
weasel
behind
out
it.
of this. Of course you're trying to weasel
How
out
the
of
fuck
it.
would I know?
Do you want to pull it up?
Actually, I do.
Okay, let's go to his channel.
What show is it?
Whatever you were talking to that guy on the iPad, whoever that homie was that you were talking to, I don't know who he was. I've never seen him before, but you were on the show. I think it was Tuesday, and you said this exact thing. I would love to pull
my
this up.
show?
Yes, it was on the Crucible. I would love to show this.
Okay.
I would love to have this pulled up.
Let's show it. Can we pull it up?
Is it behind your paywall?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I saw it. and
You
I don't
saw
pay.
it?
Well, if somebody in the audience can send us the clip of it,
Yeah.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
sure. While we're doing that, Mary, can you pull up? We did the poll.
Send the clip.
We had 2,200 people answer the poll. Are you married is the question. 38% say yes. 62% say no, just because you guys were curious if the audience was married.
That's actually more honest than I thought it would be.
38%. All right. Here, I'll read some chats while you're looking at that. We have, Guy Sneen, if you want to respond, we got Skirbaderby.
Exactly. Emotional appeal after emotional
Yeah,
appeal.
I'm here for an emotional appeal.
This guy has been making emotional appeal after emotional appeal, but can't back it up with logic. In fact, he said, F logic. That's where he lost the audience. He won't F an argument.
Yep.
Yeah, you could tell this guy's been just talking to feminists, bro, because I've been saying that the whole time. Like, it's just nothing but emotion. You have to make a logical argument. And if you say F logic, you've lost 99% of the men, because it's like, well, all we're going to hear is emotional, like female, talking points. It's like, we can't take you seriously as a man if you're not using logic to back up what you're saying.
Argument is a lot of red pillars are isolated, they're angry, they blame women, and they're dating less. I'm trying to help them stop doing that, and red pill content is pushing them further down the rabbit hole.
Erroneous!
It's not erroneous, it's literally factual.
That just so you know, that's still not actually an argument. That's just a statement.
Well, it's a true statement.
No, it's not.
Well, but it doesn't.
Like I said, he's categorizing red pill and incel as the same thing. Bro, I know plenty of guys who listen to the red pill, who I literally work with, goes out every week and is always coming back to me, hey, bro, check out this girl I'm talking to, bro. Check out this new girl I got with. He's using the red pill, and he gets plenty of girls. So to say because you follow red pill, you get no women, it's crazy. To say, it would be one thing if he said, well, following the red pill makes men less likely to commit to women. I could maybe entertain that argument. But saying that men who are in the red pill, it's like, no. We're selective. And some of them, they don't care. They'll date them anyway. They probably won't take them seriously because of what they know now. But I think that's a good thing. I don't think most women should be taken seriously. Not with how most modern women move and how they think and what they expect in relationships and what they, give to men in relationships, or the little that they do. I don't think most women deserve a relationship, so I think it's good that men are pulling back. Do I think men should stop dating altogether? No. They should continue to date, but be very selective on who they give commitment to. Because women, from what I've realized, women do not value commitment. They want commitment. They don't value it. And so men need to stop rewarding them with it. But I'm going to get into that a little bit later. I don't want to derail this too much, but I'm going to get into that because this idea that red pill men are just angry and not dating. We're dating less because less women are worthy of actually being in a relationship, actually worthy of commitment. And we're learning that. And we see the data, we see the statistics. So men are coming to a logical conclusion and pulling back.
Tell us anything.
We got to get back to it. So were you able to find it? Or
No,
I'm going to move it on to the
No
next-
shock, you couldn't find it.
It's there, Andrew. If
Oh,
you
sure it is.
give me another 10 minutes, how about that?
We're in the middle of a
No,
live
he's
stream.
saying this
We're-
bullshit, like trying to weasel out
I
of it
bet you
because he
we're
in the
doesn't.
middle of-
You know what, Brian? He doesn't want you to hear it.
Look,
That's the reason.
I wanted
He doesn't
to hear
want
it.
you to hear it. Well,
You're a fucking degenerate.
he doesn't want you
He's
to hear
told
it.
me- he has told
Many
me.
times I've told him to
Okay,
his
so
fucking
he has
face
told
he's a
me.
So
degenerate.
you don't deny that you said red
Do
pill
you
people.
know what I think
Hold on. So you don't deny that red pill content creators are
Yeah.
degenerates.
Do you know
then?
what a degenerate?
You just said it.
Bro,
You just said it.
Bro, do you know what a degenerate is?
I have premarital sex. He thinks I'm a degenerate.
I think that's
And red pill
degenerate.
content promotes that.
You also promote it. You're a fucking degenerate.
Okay, I'm a degenerate.
Wait, are you against
So, like, you
premarital sex?
promote
No,
it.
but I think red pill people are. That's what I'm saying. You don't believe in red pill communities.
Oh my God! How many times do I have to tell you this?
But you're not red pill.
I'm not a red pillar.
But you advocate for them.
No,
You literally go
bro,
on their shows.
I advocate for the red pill, not for red pill ex-content creator.
Okay.
Myron Gaines having sex out of marriage, fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
I told him that to his face.
And what messages
Hang on,
are
stop,
they-
bro. My turn.
and what messages-
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. It's
And
my
what
turn.
messages are they
This
promoting?
guy-
And what
this guy-
messages are they
dude,
promoting to their
here,
audience?
When you're done filibustering, I'll
And
tell
what
you.
messages are they promoting to their
Wait.
audience?
Okay. What message? Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. So here, just so you know,
Are you gonna insult
I've
me,
called
bro?
most of these guys.
Hey.
Okay, most of these guys, but especially fucking progressives like you degenerates, because all of you who promote sex outside of marriage are fucking degenerates from my view.
Have you ever had sex
Do you
out of
underst-
marriage?
do you understand
Did you have
that?
sex out of
Yeah.
marriage? Oh, so you're a degenerate?
I was.
Okay, good for you. You saved yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Were you? Did you have something else there to go with, like your little? Did you own me? Do you feel like you owned me on that
a little
one?
bit, a little
New
bit.
prompt. New prompt
You,
here, guys.
you feel
New
like you
prompt.
got me on that?
Yeah.
It was Andrew Wilson completely consistent again.
So okay.
Yeah, he's
in your,
definitely been
TikTok
consistent.
bio, or this might be on your Instagram. You say masculinity, dating, and what women actually want, unfiltered.
Right.
What do women actually want?
Ooh, I wanna hear this.
Prescription for what women want. I ask them what they want, and they tell me. That's all.
Oh, he's lost. He's lost. You know what? Let's hear that again, because that was just, God, that was stupid.
And what women actually want, unfiltered.
Right.
What do women actually want?
I don't have a prescription for what women want. I ask them what they want, and they tell me. That's all. And I share that information. That's it.
Cooked. Just off of that statement, he is so cooked. The first thing you learn when you come into the red pill is that there is a huge discrepancy between what women say and what women do. And the first thing you learn is to stop listening to what they say and just look at their actions. Because the reason why so many men are confused when it comes to dating and it comes to relationships and women and what women want is because they spend majority of their life, dealing with women from a logical sense of, okay, she said this, she said she wants this, she says she's looking for this, aka the nice guy, the guy who's going to listen to her, the guy who's going to be loyal, the guy who's going to treat her like a princess. They say that, apply that. And then you get immensely frustrated when you don't get the results that you're expecting. She said she want this, I did this, I got left on red, I got used, I got cheated on, I got manipulated. What? What? Men are confused. So that's why we teach them when they come to the red pill, stop using your ears and start using your eyes. Look at her lifestyle. Look at the men she chooses. Look at the men she sleeps, how she dresses. Look at the friends she keeps. Look at the places she's going. Look at her actions. That will tell you what she wants, and that will tell you the kind of woman that she is. So the fact that he's trying to help men, but the fundamental, from the jump, his information is going to be flawed. So flawed, because he's saying, I don't know what women want. I listen to them, and then I go off of that. I tell men to do that. Women are going to tell you women are going to tell you how to be the perfect sucker for them. They're not going to tell you how to be the most attractive, because if they told you how to be the most attractive, they know that they would be handing over the leverage to you. So they can't tell you what they're actually aroused by. They can't tell you that they like the bad boy, that they like when you don't listen to them, that you call the shots, that you dictate things, that you don't tolerate her nonsense. They're not going to tell you that, because to tell you what actually makes them attract, what makes you a good little provider boy, they're going to tell you to be nice, to be caring, to be understanding, to be reliable, to be, just all these things that gives the woman the leverage. Happy wife, happy life. My happiness matters. Cater to me. Bro, they're not going to tell you what it really takes. And so while you're there trying to be the guy that she says that she wants, she's going to be banging the dude who wasn't doing any of that, the guy who just watched and then gave her what she actually wanted based on her actions. So he's cooked. He has no business teaching men. Based off that one statement, everything from there is going to be skewed. The source of the information is already just completely effed, bro. If he's getting the information from women and going off of what they say to then teach men what women want. Cooked.
I don't tell them anything. I don't prescribe anything.
Okay, I'm not going to. Let's go over some of the other prompts then. You have men... healthy masculinity is expansive, not rigid. Can you just define what you mean by that, I guess?
Where is that? Where did I say that?
It was in one of the, you said positive claims I would make in the debate. Healthy masculinity is expansive, not rigid. What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
What does
I just
that mean?
don't subscribe to the idea that there's only one way to be considered quote unquote masculine.
So like traditional generals, you would say.
Traditional generals, you can be masculine in traditional general, but I think if you're not, that doesn't necessarily.
Andrew, the positive claim he makes is healthy masculinity is expansive, not rigid. Is that something you want to bite on? Or?
Yeah, but
Okay.
we'd have to get into semantics.
I don't want to get into semantics.
What you'll notice is that liberals, feminists, they hate definitions. They hate definitions, and we got into a little bit of this in the last live stream that I did. They hate definitions because definitions create boundaries. Definitions, from the feminist and the liberal perspective, they want anybody to be able to identify as anything, to be able to do anything, no limitations, no boundaries, just a freedom society. But freedom without boundaries is chaos. But they can't see that. That's why we see the society that we're living in today, where people are identifying as whatever they want, and the bounds and the line between masculine and feminine being crossed and merged in all sorts of weird ways. And the society is looking like a clown show, and both men and women are unhappy with how things are going. But like I said, freedom without boundaries is chaos. Definitions create boundaries, create identifiers that it either is or it isn't, and they don't like that because you can't have anything that's static and unchangeable in a feminist world where anybody can be and do anything. In order to identify as anything, nothing can truly have a rigid definition. Everything needs to be fluid and subject to change. And that's why he doesn't want to get into semantics when it comes to masculinity, because he's going to have to narrow it down to what it is and what it means to embody masculinity. And he doesn't want to do that. But let's keep going.
Can't get a position.
No, because
For the sake of the conversation, Yeah, solid.
But I get it.
Are you my homie?
We're homies.
Are we homies?
We're homies. But what I'm saying is, Andrew has does these tactics,
funny.
man. It's not about because,
Raphael.
but he's doing bad faith arguments,
you
Brian.
strawberry lemonade.
I appreciate it, but he's doing bad
did
faith
you like the
arguments.
strawberry
He's
lemonade?
doing bad
I
faith
haven't even
arguments.
made
Did you
an
like the
argument.
But you will. I know you.
So I'm gonna make. You're mad because I'm.
You're gonna make a
trying
bad faith
to
argument.
Stop me from preemptively
wow.
making an argument.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. Great.
I don't have a solid definition. My general definition of masculinity, and it's very loose, is basically men doing the right thing because it's the right thing. And it's not the best definition because I don't think masculinity
What?
can be so defined.
Bruh. Men doing the right thing because it's the right thing. What? That's masculinity. Men doing the right thing because it's the right thing. Bro, there's so many things wrong with that statement. Okay, then I would have to ask him, like, okay, what's femininity? Doing the right thing because it's the right thing? If it's not that, what is femininity then, from his perspective? Shouldn't everybody be doing the right thing because it's the right thing? Why is masculinity categorized as that? Does the feminine not have that same, duty to do the right thing because it's the right thing? Is that simply a masculine trait? Bro, what? I already know Andrew is gonna get into this, bro. Like, that is ridiculous. I remember what's up with these feminists, bro? In the last live stream that I did earlier, the question was asked, what is a woman? And the feminist woman on the panel responded, anyone who at any point has been afraid of a man. Are these people insane? What kind of... You know what? Let's keep going.
What?
That's my definition.
Men doing the right thing because it's the right thing.
Correct.
What's the right thing?
Protecting people, being good to people. That's what I think is masculine.
Protecting people and being good to people. Mm-hmm. Okay, but what does good to people mean? What does that mean?
See, I'm not getting into morality. I'm not
even getting it.
But that's where it goes. That's where it goes, Andrew. That's where it goes.
No, I'm just asking what this means.
I gave you my definition. Move on. Provide your definition. Provide whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, so I can give you my definition of
Sure, go for it.
masculinity, but you haven't given me yours.
I did. Go for it.
So
I did.
I just want to make sure I got it right then, and I'm going to write down every word. Masculinity is men doing the right thing.
Because it's the right thing, not for
What
any
is the right
transaction
thing?
or
Is
reward.
men doing the right thing because it's the right thing.
What is the right thing, and the right thing according to who and according to what? It gets into... bro, that statement is just... You have to get into semantics with that statement. You have to get into semantics. If he had gave, the textbook definition of masculinity... He actually could have avoided the semantics, but because he gave this loose, watered-down definition of masculinity, you have to get into semantics to truly understand the stance. So honestly, he dug his own grave on that one. He wanted to avoid semantics, but his definition, you can't avoid semantics. But hold on, guys. I got to take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be right back. So hang tight. The live stream will continue in just a bit. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry for the quick break. Let's get right back into it.
Yes.
Now, I need you to understand this. I know that you think that these are sneaky debate tricks, right? Even though I've sat across this table, this, by the way, is the first time ever that I've been in studio and had a one-on-one debate where it's even been slightly heated. And usually we start serious, where it's been a 1v1, where it's even been, well, no, with the two degenerates. That was the only other time. Literally, that was the only other time in a 1v1 where it was even really
never
heated.
gotten heated.
That
You've
one was
never
pretty
gotten
tame,
heated,
though.
dude.
It was pretty tame. No, I'm serious.
You've never gotten heated.
No, what did I just say? Can you even
In a
repeat back?
one-on-one debate, it's never been heated.
No. What did I fucking see? You're not even listening, dude. You don't
is
even
the
want to
only
listen.
one- this is the
I
only
said
one.
in this studio, this is the only 1v1 that I can think of where it's even gotten heated.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the case. And usually it's because I clarify everything before we start talking about it, so we're not talking past each other.
Yeah, because you love definitions. It's your favorite thing in the whole
Because,
world.
dude, how do we know what we're talking about?
And feminists hate definitions for exactly what I just mentioned. They hate it because they can't. Their ideal society cannot exist where there are strict, rigid labels. Everything has to be fluid and subject to change because everybody deserves the right to identify as anything. So, a guy wearing a dress deserves the right to identify as masculine just as much as the guy, who's, the typical, rough, the gym dude, buff, chiseled, masculine dude deserves the right to identify as masculine. Bro, no, there's limitations. The same way femininity has a meaning. It has a look. It has an appearance. It has a sound. Femininity, it has there's something to femininity. Once you start saying that this other thing that's completely opposite is also feminine, then it loses all definition. But that's the problem you run into when you want everybody to be able to self-identify as a particular thing. You can't. You literally can't.
What we're talking about.
No,
you
I
just
don't
wanna,
know.
Yes, you do.
Okay, masculinity is men doing the right thing. Okay, well, I think the right thing is for you to fucking. You're feminine. You're feminine.
Okay.
Punch yourself in
And
the dick, or you're feminine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you're feminine.
Good point.
Fucking.
It is a good point, because like if you say doing the right thing, masculinity is doing the right thing, then you have to establish what doing the right thing is, what that means. You have to you also have to get into who is it coming from? Doing the right thing according to who? What ethics, what principles are you using to come to the conclusion that this is the right thing? And then you have to get into, is that actually the right thing? So yes, it does go into a rabbit hole once you start getting into that. But it's because of the way he framed it. He framed it so open. He made such an open-ended definition that you must get into semantics to understand his position. Where if he just said masculinity was just, the traditional, what we all know to be semantics to understand.
Stupid, dude. You have to tell me what these things mean.
Good point.
Tell me what it means. What does it mean? What is the right thing?
That's my definition.
What is
Go
the
ahead
right
and
thing,
define
bro?
your thing. No,
What
I'm
is
not
the right
doing
thing,
that.
bro?
I'm not doing it.
What
Tell
is
me your
it?
definition.
What is the right thing?
Tell me your definition.
You haven't told me
Tell me
anything.
your definition.
Tell
me your definition.
I think that masculinity is when men
Tell
beat
me your
up women.
definition. Tell me your definition.
I just did.
Okay, well,
I think masculinity is when men beat up women and kick them while they're down.
well,
that's the only way to be masculine.
you say that in jest, but a lot of truth is said in jest.
No, it's 100. It's 100%.
A lot of
true.
truth is said
You
in
gotta-
jest.
You got
A lot of
just
A lot
fuck
of
'em
truth
up.
is
You know,
said
you
in
gotta
jest.
really get in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, joking like
Yeah.
that is, that's coming
You know
from
how
a
it
real
is.
place from you. That's
You gotta
coming from
get
a
in
real
there.
place.
Yeah.
That's coming
That's
from a real solid
hilarious.
place.
Yeah, I mean, I would give you a
No, that's coming
definition.
from the soul, Andrew.
Yeah, I'd give you a
That's coming from
definition.
the soul,
But are you gonna
buddy.
ask me questions
That's
about the
coming from the
definition?
soul.
You gonna ask me questions
Oh
about
man,
it?
you really you
Yeah.
meant that.
Yeah.
You meant that.
Yeah, and then you got to kick them when they're down.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You can't let the bitches up.
Yeah, it's just a joke, right?
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
out
a
of- they're
joke.
out of their
Yeah, a
fucking
lot of
mind.
truth is said in jest, Andrew.
Yeah. Is it?
Absolutely.
He got
Like when you were
while they're
like, before
down.
the show started and you were making Kate shows about yourself? Is that where you tried to tell me something?
I never once did that. What are you
Oh,
talking
come
about?
on, dude.
What did he just really make that up just to say some bullshit
Come
on air?
on, dude.
Did I miss something?
No.
Everybody missed it because it never fucking happened.
What I'm pointing out to you, right, is when you're bad faith like this, I'm going to be bad faith back.
Okay, go for it then. You've been bad faith this whole time.
There's no, bro, asking
You're
you.
a bad faith debater.
Asking you,
because then it becomes.
we're not
what
even
do you
going into
consider-
morality. I'm just asking you what
When
the
you
right
ask
thing
somebody
is.
what good
I'm just
is,
asking you what
when
the
you
right
ask
thing
somebody
is.
what is good, is that not
They
morality?
define the fucking thing by what is good. Then I have to ask you what good is. You fucking dolt.
But that's what I'm saying.
God,
I'm
you're
not
dumb as
going
a
to
box
sit
of
here.
fucking
I'm not
rocks.
going to get into morality with you because it's the same bullshit every time with you.
fine.
This is your favorite argument is morality.
Then what? You should just look at the camera and monologue, dude.
I will.
You're not
I got-
debating.
I
You're
got-
just screaming.
I got a prompt change then.
Well, he doesn't want to define masculinity. He only wants to, pick apart mine.
You haven't even defined it.
Sure.
You just
but
gave
it's
a
your
proprietary
positive claim.
definition.
Yeah.
It's your positive claim.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah, but I
how
have to
about
define
this?
it for him.
He hasn't defined it at all.
I have
Let's
to
do-
define it for
I
him.
defined it.
You didn't, dude.
Did he
No,
define
you
it?
didn't.
No.
No, you gave an open-ended thing. Like, it means nothing. Unless you tell us what the right thing is, and according to who, we have no clue what it is you're saying. Doing the right thing according to me? So then I could just do whatever I deem as the right thing and still identify as masculine? So you have to identify, is that your argument? Because if it's if doing the right thing is up to the individual from his perspective, right? If we determine what the right thing is, then honestly, kicking them while they're down, you could still be masculine according to his worldview. Because who and what is the right thing? You have to get into that based on your definition. I don't know how he doesn't get that.
Or
It makes it's circular.
He's not satisfied with
Listen,
it.
it's circular. Masculinity is men doing the right thing. That fucking doesn't tell us anything.
Because I don't have a very prescriptive version of masculinity. that is my general
so it's fine.
across the board.
So then it would be
version
fine
of
for me to
masculinity.
ask follow-up questions about what the right
But
thing
I
is.
don't wanna get into morality
But you
with
don't
you.
want to tell me any fucking answers to any questions.
here, well, if
Because he knows, because the liberal mindset is void of morality. The liberal mindset is do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you happy is pretty much the liberal mindset in a nutshell. So there is no moral prescriptions on what is right and what is wrong. The only things that are wrong are things that go against their preferences. The things that the right and wrong from the perspective of liberals and feminists. So that's why he wants to avoid morality, because he knows the feminist mindset is void of morality. Whereas the Christian mindset has morals and values and it has reasons behind that. That's why he doesn't want to get into that, because he knows he'll lose that debate. And he knows that if he tries to apply any kind of morality to his description of what masculinity is, he's gonna run into some walls, because it's like, well, how did you come to that conclusion? And he's not gonna be able to answer that, because every thing that he comes up with isn't going to be subject to just how he feels. I feel this way, and every argument's going to boil down to that. And he knows that because he's watched Andrew debate it before, and that's why he's scared to go down that road, because he knows the outcome's going to be the same.
If you don't want to get into the morality, can you say, you said it's healthy masculinity is expansive. Andrew's got to take a little smoke break here. A little smoke break.
Because Andrew thinks masculinity is very rigid. If you don't fall within these guidelines,
It is rigid.
if you don't
Andrew,
follow,
be nice. Come on.
if you don't fall within these certain guidelines, you're not masculine. That's Andrew's take.
Okay. Just bring the.
But it's true. Like, masculinity and femininity are different for a reason. You can't say that the guy wearing the dress and then the dude wearing, the James Bond suit smoking the cigar are the same thing. They're two very different individuals. Like, but what you want? But he is advocating for a society where both men, the guy wearing the sundress, the pink sundress with a bow in his hair, and the guy living the James Bond life with the tuxedo and the cigarette and the being like a badass. He wants to say both of those are masculine. No. That's not how it works. It is rigid. There's a boundary where once you cross it, you are no longer that thing. But he doesn't want to go there because he knows he's going to ostracize certain communities. And the feminist community is one of the major pushers of this identity debate. So, yeah, he doesn't want to cross that line and, ruffle any of the feathers of his followers.
Bottle of whiskey, Andrew. Do you want the bottle? Just drink from the bottle. Get him
Let's
the
see
bottle.
if we
Get him the
can.
bottle of whiskey.
Oh, looks like he's
let's see
coming
if we
back.
have-
Okay.
Oh, we got some chats.
Hang
Hold
on, hang on. Let me just
Yeah.
try
Okay.
this again.
Yes. Go ahead.
It's not going to work, bro. He's hard-headed.
If you are talking about something and making a prescriptive ought, in this case masculinity, right? What it is and what men should be doing with it.
I didn't say they should be. I said that's my worldview.
Okay, your worldview. Great. If we dive into your worldview, right, and you have a proprietary definition, this definition meets no definition of masculinity I've ever seen in my life.
I know.
Okay? Yes, so it's proprietary. You agree?
Yes.
So it's perfectly rational and logical for me to go through your proprietary definition so that I can make sure it makes fucking sense, right?
I don't care if you think it makes sense.
Give me a fucking shot, dude. I can't.
Dude, give him the bottle. You want the bottle? How much is left?
Fucking, you probably, that.
How are you giving people advice when you don't even want to articulate and get into the details of your stance, and then you go on to say that you don't care if it makes sense? He said F logic, and he also says he doesn't care if his own definition that he provides. He's trying to help men. This guy, I don't know if he said it yet, but his whole thing, he has a YouTube channel, and his whole thing is trying to help men, according to him, and get them to start dating again, because the red pill is teaching men all these hurtful things about women and skewing their mind and making them believe that women aren't worth dating anymore. And so he's trying to help men get back out there and start dating and combat the red pill and its negative connotations of what women are and how feminism actually is. You are trying to help men who are masculine, and you can't even tell them what masculinity is. It is so foolish. The same way feminists say they're advocating for women. But the second you ask them, what is a woman? They start getting nervous and fidgeting in their seats. You're advocating to help a group of people that you can't even give a definition of what they actually are. The same way for him, you're trying to help men who are masculine because masculine men want to date women. But then you can't even identify what masculinity is. You can't even give them a definition. And when asked to explain your definition, you say you don't care if it makes sense. Help men if you don't even care if your information makes sense.
Chatter. The one chatter is actually right. You might be the dumbest fucking person I've ever debated on this podcast.
And you're the most emotional wreck of a person I've ever
You'd
talked
be
to.
emotional too if you're. It's like arguing with a fucking kindergartner, dude. You don't even know what you're talking
Can you
about.
pass her the...
You like literally don't know what you're
The whole
talking
point
about.
of
I
the
don't
prompt-
care.
the whole point of the
I
prompt-
don't care.
The whole point
I
of the
don't
prompt
care.
was that masculinity isn't a rigid thing, and that's why I keep it very open.
Yeah, okay, it's not a rigid thing, but that doesn't tell us what it is.
It is a rigid thing.
All right. Let's see here. We'll do a couple chats here really quick, then we'll get right back into a prompt. We have Red Fox. Thank you, Red Fox. Appreciate it.
Red Fox donated $100. Andrew holds a deep veneration for women and their contributions,
And talk about it all the
particularly
time.
ecclesial traditions.
Deep veneration.
Feminist, what is the role and duty of women?
In fact, my religion, we venerate the Theotokos. You know, that would be the mother of God. But, you know, the thing is even though I talk about this all the time, discuss how much we need matrons in society, how important it is, I just hate all fucking women.
No, you see them as just breeders. That's what you see them as.
Yeah, well, it's just breeders.
No, that's just the mindset that feminists say. If you don't agree with them, you just see women as incubators, as breeders, as slaves. It's like, no, women play a very important role. And I touched upon this in the last live stream, where the man, he goes to work. Well, I started off by saying God gives man the knowledge and the wisdom. The man then passes that on to the woman. The woman passes that on to the child. But feminists break the chain of that transfer of information and knowledge and traditionalism when they send the woman off to work. Now, or they also say the woman, you don't need men anymore. But women are still having kids out of wedlock. So that transfer of wisdom, of knowledge, of traditionalism is broken. So the kids never get passed down the necessary information to be a full human being when it comes to their spiritual lives, or when it comes to just embodying what it means to be either a man or a woman. No, women have a very important role in supporting the man and also raising the next generation and instilling the very necessary values it takes to be a complete man or woman in society. But they just think that men only see them as individuals to pump out babies. No, that's what feminists say to scare women away from traditionalism.
That's what he
Do you think women have any duty to?
No.
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 Do men
Never?
have duties? Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Men don't have duties?
No, I think by my definition, they should do the right thing, but that's my
That would be a
worldview.
duty, you fucking dolt.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So
then they have a
what duty? So they have the duty to do the right thing?
Let's
That's
not
what I
do
think.
insults.
Now let's do insults. What?
Andrew, no.
Do they have duties? What duties do women have?
None.
No.
Wow. It goes back, and the first person I heard say this was Myron. Whereas he said this. He said, in society, men are told to do the right thing, and women are told to do the right thing for you. And that is, we can see that so clearly with the mindset that he's pushing. It's like, oh my gosh, bro. Men have the duty to do the right thing. Women have no duties. Their only job is to do whatever makes them happy. Why do you think relationships break down? Why do you think men don't want to date women anymore? Because you're telling them to embody this mindset where the man has duties and responsibilities towards you and towards society. A man should protect you. A man should provide for you. A man should pay for the first date. The man should walk on the side of on the outside of the sidewalk so he can protect you. A man needs to protect and provide. He needs to be there for you emotionally. A man has duties to society. He needs to put his life on the line. Should a life or death situation occur, the man has duties and responsibilities. And society has no problem telling men what those are. But just like he said, and there was another debate that they were having on Piers Morgan when Andrew was on there as well, and he was debating, God, I forgot her name, but it was another feminist chick, undercover feminist, pretending to be conservative, and he was debating her, and she was asked, Andrew asked her, what do men get in return? And she said nothing. In fact, she said the fact that men even want anything in return is not masculine. A masculine man wouldn't be asking what he gets in return for what he provides. He would just give it. So there's this narrative in society that men have duties and responsibilities towards women, and women only have duties and responsibilities for themselves. Their happiness is all that matters. Why do you think they leave relationships so much? Because they're told from little girls, your happiness is all that matters. Not duty, not responsibility, not family, not loyalty. You're only loyal to your happiness. That's it. That is it. Anything that dares to go against your happiness must go. And if that means destroying the family, that's what it means. If that means destroying your husband, that's what it means. If that means throwing your boyfriend under the bus, that's what it means. Happiness over everything. Because, hey, that's the only thing you're loyal to. They have no duties.
Okay.
Okay, we have a couple chats coming through here. We got, where is it?
That
Jordan.
drives you insane.
Yes, it does.
Drives him insane.
Jordan Flores
Jordan
donated
Flores.
$100. Andrew, I'm sorry. As a member of the Mexican community, we don't claim the Fem de General Vivo El Crucible.
Are you part of that? Maybe
I'm half Mexican,
You could
yes.
be Puerto Rican. You could.
I'm
be-
half Mexican,
Okay.
but I would
How do
imagine.
he's apparently Jordan Flores is the representative.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
representative.
Of all
yeah,
Mexicans who
he's
have ever lived.
disowning
He works in the
representative.
consulate. Yeah, no, he absolutely is probably another one of these single people that are angry. So
oh my
it's fine.
gosh.
Okay.
Bro, you can be single and not angry. Like, just because you're single. Bro, I'll tell you, bro. After my last relationship, I took, I would say, like 3 years off of dating. Bro, now I'll say about like 2.5. So much peace. And yes, bro, I could get women no problem. I did get women no problem. It was easy. It was like, once you learned game and understand what women actually want, not going off of what they tell you, but actually understand what you can learn from the red pill, getting women is like shooting fish in a barrel. It's just like plug and play. So I was single, bro. I was at peace. I was safe, gotten back to this calm, even place where I'm at now, and everything in my life is just balanced and calm. And there's no stress. Is because of those years I took away from taking women serious. It was so crucial, bro. And honestly, I was nervous about getting back into a relationship because I was afraid that it would disturb my peace. Now, of course, I have my boundaries and stuff in place, and the second that a woman even showed signs of disturbing my peace, I'd be out the door. Teleport, gone, smoke in the wind. But still, I was nervous when it came to changing my dynamic from going from being single to being in a relationship. I could have always gone into a relationship. The girls who I was dating casually while I was single, all of them were trying to get into a relationship with me. I could have had them whenever I wanted to, if I wanted a relationship with them. I didn't, and I was happy. This idea that you must be upset because you're not in a relationship. Bro, those were some peaceful years. And look, I got a good girl. I made sure to get a very good girl. But guess what? I used the red pill data packet and used that in my vetting process so that I didn't get a woman who was going to disturb my peace. So now I went from 2 years of peace, and I still have peace, and life is still going good. So no, you can absolutely be single and be 1,000% happy with your life, be 1,000% content. Now, ultimately, I think most men, if they haven't been severely done wrong by a woman, which a lot of women do, they ultimately eventually, do want to get back into a relationship. And I knew I was going to get back into a relationship at some point, but I was in no rush. Bro, I'm young. Women are always going to be there. There's always going to be young, hot, attractive women, no matter what. And the more successful you become as a man, and honestly, the older you get as a guy, the more women you get anyway. Like, bro, when I turned 26, there was an explosion in how many women I had access to. 27, even more. 27 was the big boom when it was like, bro, I'm getting so much female attention. It was very apparent there has been a drastic change in the way women perceive me as opposed to when I was 23, 24, 25. And as you get older, bro, I'm telling you, on dating apps, I set my age range from 18 up to 35. And no matter how old I get, the ones I match with the most, right? 23, 24. But I'm able to match with women from 18 to 25 to 35, excuse me. So my point is, the older I get, the more younger women match with my profile. Not older women, right? They could, I do get matched with older women as well, but primarily women in their early 20s. So it doesn't matter, bro. There's no rush. Take your time off dating. You don't have to be dating to be happy. You don't need a woman in your life to be happy. Find a good woman at some point, but take your time, vet her out. There's no rush. You can 1,000% be a single man and find peace. And often that's where you find peace, is when you stop chasing women and you just find, peace within yourself. That's where you find it.
Pretty angry.
Between the two of us, I'm the one that seems angry,
Yeah, you
Andrew.
seem pretty
Between
angry.
the two of us,
Yes.
Nice job, dude.
100 times the women you have, so his sample size is far greater. Shouldn't you defer to that then, since you love
I think 2,000.
Jeez.
2,000 women. I know.
That's a lot.
That was kind of misogynistic.
And I've been
What
here
have you
for-
learned?
Why
I've
did
been
you
here
say-
for half
wait,
of that, by the way.
Why did you say G's when I interviewed 2,000
That's all-
women?
I'm just saying that's a
You
lot of
seem-
shows.
That seems a bit misogynistic.
How so?
It just seems a bit like, wow, you had to talk to 2,000 women?
I'm just surprised at the sheer
That just
number of
seems a
women you've
little-
talked to.
No, the way it came across.
Sure, but I'm explaining.
Was it was like, I'm sorry
No,
that you had
it
to
wasn't
do that.
It wasn't
Brian.
that. I'm just asking you what you've learned in those 2,000 interviews. What have you learned?
From them?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
About women.
Not much.
No?
Just kidding. I've learned a lot.
Not
Yeah?
much.
I've learned a ton.
What have you learned? Share.
Oh man, yeah. Brian has definitely been severely red pilled. The things women say on the panel, and just the things he's experienced, Yeah, homie is, he handles it well. And I remember seeing Brian from the beginning because I never used to watch Red Ever podcast in the beginning, but I went back and looked at his earlier content, and homie was definitely, more. I don't think he's like jaded, but he had like a better he had, how do I put this? His perspective on women wasn't as dark isn't the word, but that's the only thing that's coming to mind. And the reason why that is because he hadn't yet come to realize certain female truths. He was still in happy-go-lucky land where women are sugar and spice, everything nice. And then when he started really interviewing as much women as he has, the dark truths began to reveal themselves, and now he can't look at women the same way. You cannot look at women the same way once you understand them. That doesn't mean you can't have respect for ones that are respectable. But once you know, you can't unknow. You can't look at them the same way. You just can't. It's like, bro, it's like finding out, it's like you have a friend and then you find out like a serious criminal. It's like you can't go back to seeing him the same way. That might not be the best example, but something fundamentally changes in a man when he finally understands the truth about women. And then you look back on the mindset that you used to have, and you're just like, how could I have been so naive? How could I have not seen it? Because a lot of the truths are staring you right in the face. But because you're taught that women are sugar, spice, everything nice, and, we're supposed to just view them in this always positive perspective and view of women, we're only supposed to view them in a certain positive way. Anytime you try to view women in a negative way, you're demonized. They say that you hate women, you're a misogynist, you're a this, you're a that, you're insecure, small dick energy. Anytime a man is on the verge of coming to realization of the dark realities of female nature, he's shut down immediately. But oftentimes the dark realities are staring you right in the face. You're just told to ignore them until something happens to you in your personal life where it's like, I can't ignore this. I can't ignore this anymore. What they're saying women are and how they operate and how they behave, reality just doesn't reflect that once you're dating them. And you're like, where do they ever get this idea that women are these sweet, innocent individuals who are always the victim, when you find out that many of them are very malicious, very predatory, and oftentimes very abusive. But you never see that narrative until it's smack dab like in your face, till you're in the situation and you're forced to evolve your perspective on how women are.
There's something.
Ask me at the end of the show,
Okay.
and I'll tell you. I shouldn't be too involved in the convo.
Hey, you donated $100. The red pill
Thank
isn't
you.
the problem. It's a symptom of a larger issue where men have had negative experiences with modern women and are still villainized. We find solidarity in our collective awakening.
Thank you, hey you. This is exactly what I think is an honest assessment of what happens. I said in my opening statement that red pill communities prey on men's rejection. They prey on men's anger.
Rejection.
And I think that's true. And I think they do find community in red pill. I really do. And I think that's why they flock there. But I don't think it's effective for them. I think it's keeping them lonely, isolated, and angry. And they're not dating. So if it's not working, let's look for an alternative. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
Here, let's get into that. What's the alternative?
That's what we've been trying to get into this whole time. But you're
I'm
trying to do
waiting.
some other
What's-
bullshit semantic definition game.
Okay. Listen, me asking you what masculinity is, and you saying fulfilling the general societal good, fucking is meaningless.
Okay.
It is meaningless.
Okay, because I didn't come here to necessarily to talk about that. I came here to
Yeah,
talk
but
about
I
the
mean,
red
this
pill community
this
is
is your
destroying
worldview.
men's
Debates
yeah.
are about worldviews.
No,
dude.
debates. You play debate club, and I'm not here for that.
Dude, it's not debate club.
You
it's
try
just
to win.
a
No,
debate.
you try to win debate points. Like there's some judges out there. That's what you do,
Bro,
You're not trying to have a real conversation about shit.
Yeah, I agree that I want my worldview to win, and I want my worldview to win a debate. But the thing is like, I don't even know what your worldview is because you can't explain it.
So your worldview is the red pill is working for men? Is that your worldview?
No.
Well, that's what we're here arguing.
Okay, if you want to do an internal critique of Christian ethics and my worldview, I'm happy to do that.
We came here to talk about the red pill and manosphere community.
Yes. And so when you're asking me about the red pill, what have I told you it is?
You said it's a data packet.
Yes. And so I can utilize, and Christians can utilize this data packet as well, right? And we can introduce it through Christian ethics in a prism that helps men, right?
Pill communities aren't Christian Orthodox.
They don't have to be Christian Orthodox.
Okay, well, the point is the red pill community helping
you
men, or is it
realize-
hurting? Hold on, is the red pill community helping men, or is it hurting them, in your opinion?
It's helping them.
I think it's more helpful than it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I would like to know what
Absolutely.
the alternative is.
Turn off the red pill, at least for now. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I
but
got.
what's the alternative to it, though?
I don't know. Consider trying to ask a girl out. Maybe
What?
Yeah, they never thought of that.
They're not doing it, Andrew.
Yeah, dude.
They're not doing it because it's not worth it. They're not okay, so first he said, oh, they're just incels, they can't get a woman, and that's why they're angry. Now he's saying they don't want to ask women out, which is what I would say is actually the truth. It's not that they can't get a woman, it's that they don't want to get a woman because it's not worth it anymore. They are aware of, men are finally aware and awakened to the mindset of it. And then they're taken a very logical stance of like, okay, here's what I have to provide in a relationship. Here's what's required of me. Here are my duties and responsibilities towards her. What am I getting in return? And individuals like you say nothing. They have no duties to society. They have no duties to the man. You should just have a woman just to have one, because having one is good enough in and of itself. And men are like, no. Men are sick and tired of getting in relationships only to get cheated, married so much. Oh my gosh, I want commitment. No, you don't. You don't value commitment. Of course, you just want it. You don't value it, though, because your happiness is all that matters. And for right now, they believe that the relationship is going to give them happiness. And once the relationship doesn't give them happiness, well, then it's off to the next thing that hopefully will. And that's why will get rid of the relationship. And men know this now, and they're like, so what's the point? What do I get out of this? And then what's the end goal? Because I thought the end goal was a long-term relationship and a family that stood the test of time. But now the data and statistics are showing me a different story. So why should I continue to attempt to put myself in a relationship dynamic that ultimately is going to end, and then I, the man, I'm going to have to pay the price for that? My money and also my kids are on the line. And also my mental health is on the line. After investing years of your life into a woman only for her to just, cut things off and leave you financially wrecked. A lot of guys have to build from the ground up, and they look back on their lives and they're like, what was the point of that? That was just a painful experience. And it's not just the end result that men are afraid of. It's just like the suffering all the way up until the end of the relationship, where they're trying their best to please their wives with a happy wife, happy life dynamic. It's like, bro, enough men have taken to the internet and showed men what they can expect from dating. They've showed them what they can expect being dragged through the divorce courts, what it's like to be married, what it's like, trying to keep her happy for 10 plus years, and all the BS you have to go through, all the gaslighting, manipulation, and cheating. And men are just like, and it's not just word of mouth. It's also the data, the statistics that back that up. The body counts are up to high heaven. The divorce rate's up to high heaven. Women are more, demanding of what they require from men, and yet they bring less value. A point. Why? Do I actually need to do any of this stuff? None of this sounds like it's going to be beneficial. None of this sounds like it's going to be a good time. And none of this sounds like it's going to be worthwhile. Why would I put myself in that situation? So they're taking a look at it and they're just like, no, I'm not dating anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. The only thing that makes sense with the way relationships are now is for a man to just date casually, unfortunately. Because feminist and feminism and other liberals have pushed for a relationship dynamic that only benefits the woman. But a relationship is two people. There needs to be incentives on both sides, in order for people to come together and form a relationship. But we've only focused on providing benefits for women in a relationship and told men that you don't deserve anything, that simply having a woman is what you get out of it. You get her. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Me. I'm the table. Me. You get me. You want all of this? You get me. Ask a man what he's supposed to bring to the table. Well, I expect this. I expect that. He needs to be 6 foot tall. He needs to make this much money. He needs to do this. He needs to be a laundry list. What does he get? He gets me. Why would you date? Why would you date? For sex? For sexual access? Women are more promiscuous now than ever before. You don't need to commit to them to get sexual access. A man could bro, I'm telling you guys, if you want sexual access for the rest of your life, all you need do is learn game, hit the gym, dress well, smell good. Realize I did not say anything about money. Because there are men who literally work at McDonald's making minimum wage, making just the average amount of money, and they can get women no problem. It's not a matter of money. There's broke dudes who are able to run through women because what? They know game. Game is the great equalizer. What is game? Understanding what women actually want. The red pill teaches that. So knowing game, hit the gym, be sexually attractive, physically. When women look at you, they see a guy, he has muscles, he has a good shape. Women have eyes too. So you learn game, you hit the gym, you dress well, you have a sense of fashion, a sense of style. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't got to wear Gucci or none of that nonsense. Just dress well. Form-fitting clothes, problem with smell and body odor. Get some deodorant, take showers regularly, groom yourself, and, get cologne. It doesn't have to be expensive cologne either. Literally, a $30 bottle of cologne will serve you well. It doesn't even have to be that expensive. When I was, in my early 20s, I wasn't buying expensive cologne. I would literally go to Ross and Target, bro. Get a $15 bottle of cologne. Now my colognes are a little bit more expensive. But all through my 20s, getting nothing but compliments from girls about how good I smell off of a $15 bottle of cologne and some deodorant from Walmart. Learn game, hit the gym, dress well, smell good. You will have women for the rest of your life. So you don't need to marry them. So even if you're trying to talk to men, well, you should get a woman so you can get married and, that way you can have sexual access. Bro, you don't need to. You don't need to. So the feminism has put men in a position where they can't get what they want out of a woman. The things that they want to be happy and content for the long term, they tell women not to provide that. Being traditional, cooking and cleaning, submission, being a good mother, not dressing like a hoe, low body count. The things that men would convince men to get into a long-term relationship, women reject. So the only thing left is men viewing women in the short term, because there's no incentives for men to pursue women for long-term commitment. So all that's left is for them to pursue women for short-term sexual access. So that's what, then women are out here complaining on TikTok. Men don't want to commit. They only want to have fun. I'm in perpetual situationships. This is of your own creation. Start giving men what they actually are asking for in long-term commitments, and they'll commit. You have to incentivize both parties. Women have all the incentives. They know there's financial security involved. They know there's the laws that protect them. They get half the man's stuff. They get a man who's going to protect and provide for them. They get children out of the package. There's a bunch of incentives for women. Men, there's none. And we're logical, so we're going to opt out. But let's get back to the video.
Bro, you literally just said with that chatter that you agreed with his definition of what it was, what the problem was.
I didn't say anything about definition.
Hang on. That the way he said the problem was, which is that they had bad experiences with women.
Correct.
That means they're asking them out.
Oh, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going up to women in the street and asking them out.
So they're they're having issues approaching women.
Yes.
They're having issues
Men feel
dating
rejected.
with women.
Yes, men feel
Yeah.
rejected.
So what's the alternative?
The alternative is hopefully more positive content coming out. I hope my channel helps. I hope other channels
That
help.
doesn't. It's not telling me anything. What's the alternative?
I don't have the definite alternative, but I think the point is the red pill
what the
community is
fuck,
hurting men.
dude? What
The
the
red pill community is hurting people. That's all.
Bro. This reminds me of Naruto and Pain. And I remember, I don't know if you guys watch anime. I know a lot of guys do. But there was Pain, who was a major villain. And Naruto, he has his own ideology. And Pain, he came in and he's about to wipe out the village, and he's come to a conclusion that he needs to do this because his version of his idea is going to be what is going to sustain peace. And Naruto comes in and saying, no, that's wrong. Ask him, okay, what's your solution? What's your solution to the problem of war? Because all these nations, they kept going to war, and he was going to enact his solution, which was to cause pain himself so that people would never forget the effects of war, and that would act as a deterrent. And a lot of people would have to die in the process, of course. So he was viewed as a villain. And he's like, no, bro, don't do that. That's the wrong way. Pain's like, okay, what's your solution? You tell me. What's your game plan for solving this war problem that we keep having? And Naruto has nothing. He has nothing. He's literally like, I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't come up with a solution yet. I just know yours is not the solution. And I always remember that line that Pain, exactly who this guy is. He is he with no answers and no solutions. You want to say that the red pill is wrong, even though many men gravitate towards it, and guys like myself and many others have gotten help from it and even gotten into relationships as a byproduct of using those tips and tools, the data packet, as was previously mentioned. Self have nothing to offer in exchange. So you want me to disregard something that's actually being beneficial to me, at least from the man's perspective, and then what? Latch on to nothing? You have nothing to offer me? Just put down what you're using, abandon it, and then just be left floating? Just no options, no solutions, just what? Bro, why did you even come on this podcast if you don't even have a solution for men? All you came on was to tell them just stop watching red pill content. Okay, what should I watch? I don't know. But stop watching red pill. Bro, if you don't have a solution, then you can't tell someone to stop doing something. Andrew, he has solutions. He'll say, hey, stop doing this, start doing this. If you ask him why, he's going to go into why. Even the red pill will offer solutions. Hey, you're having this problem, do this. It'll give you this outcome. You have zero solutions. So why are you even here?
Well, I'm talking about.
But you said you were here to discuss the alternatives.
I didn't
to
say.
it.
When did I say I was here to?
I
discuss the
literally just
alternative?
wrote down alternative because you said, right, I have an alternative.
I said seek out alternatives.
What's the alternative?
I don't know, but there's not the red pill. If it's not working, get away from it. If it's poison, stop taking it. That's the first fucking step.
So
Would you
don't-
agree?
Not a single alternative?
If you're taking, like I said, there's
You
probably
haven't
more-
demonstrated
There's
it's poison.
positive masculinity podcasts out there that I would recommend listening
Whoa,
to.
really? Wait. Positive masculinity?
Correct.
Okay, what is that?
Not the rigid sense that the red pill prescribes.
That
anything,
doesn't- that doesn't
anything
tell us-
counter
That's not
the
a
red pill.
definition.
Anything, okay, I'll just call it blue pill for the sake of your stupid definitions.
What is blue pill?
I'll call it blue pill.
And
Listen
what
to
is
blue
it-
pill
and what is
content.
that?
The
What is
opposite
that?
of red pill. How about that?
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
what are
this
they
guy
saying?
They're
hates
saying,
definitions.
Don't take the red pill. That's what they're saying.
Okay, got it. So let me ask you a question. This is a cool red pill talking point. I wonder if you can refute it. Do you think that that men care about body count?
I think some of them do.
Yeah,
Most
would you?
do.
No,
No, you wouldn't care?
I wouldn't.
If she
Bruh.
fucked 20,000 guys,
If I loved her, I wouldn't care.
you wouldn't care? 30?
Bruh. What? Bro, please take back that statement. Bro, for your own self-respect, and if you want men to take you seriously, coming off as a cuck or as a sucker is not gonna work. You saying a statement like that, most men are gonna cringe and like, Ugh, that's disgusting from most men's perspectives. And you want them to follow you, a guy who's okay with thousands of women banging his chick, but if you love her, I'll take her. What? Dude, you've just lost so much respect from the male perspective. He is not here for men. He has such a feminine mindset.
There's no number. If I love somebody, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's
What
disgusting.
if she had sucked 20 guys' dicks at once?
Do you think that's going to change my answer?
I'm just
Disgusting.
curious.
Holy
I've
crap.
already answered it.
This guy's
if I care about
lost.
somebody, I don't care.
No matter what.
Correct. As long as I don't have an STD, I don't care.
Do you think it's a legitimate preference that men have that they don't want women with high body counts?
I think any preference is legitimate. If somebody has a preference, they have a preference.
Okay.
So what?
So do you think that that's a legitimate preference?
Sure. I said any preference is legitimate. Remember when I said that?
And then what do you think most men would consider a high body count to be?
I have no clue. I have no clue.
Wow.
Okay.
How would I know that?
Okay, fair enough.
This guy, like, has zero. How are you trying to help men get women? And you have zero clue as to what men think and what they actually want in women. You're saying just go date women. But those women don't have any of the things that men want, and you're not even aware of that. Men want certain types of women to commit to. You're saying just go date women for the sake of dating women because that will hopefully make you happy. But it won't. If they have a high body count, I'm going to be disgusted. So it doesn't make sense for me to date her. If she's not traditional, I'm going to be turned off. It doesn't make sense for me to date her. If she's not, if she doesn't want to submit in a relationship, it doesn't make sense for me to date her. So yes, it would make sense for me to just not date most women if they don't embody the traits that I'm looking for. But he's clueless. Absolutely clueless.
Do you think that most men would maybe consider 10 would probably be pretty high?
Not necessarily. No. Not in 2025. No.
10
You
is
don't think
high,
so?
bro.
I don't.
You don't think?
10 is absolutely high. High. What are you doing sleeping with 10? See, well, the non-traditional woman is going to sleep with 10 dudes because she has no reason not to sleep with 10 dudes because she has no morals or values or duties. She has no religion, nothing to say, hey, don't do this instead. It's do what makes you happy. So if sleeping with 10 dudes is going to make you happy, well, hey, remember, you're only loyal to your happiness, so go do that. Go do that. You're insecure. But men aren't falling for that trap anymore. But I just find it funny that he's just so unaware of what men actually want. Like 10 is absolutely a lot. And unfortunately, in this generation, we're pushing well past 10.
Think that men would have a preference against being with a woman who's fucked 10 different dudes
I think
before them?
some men would, but not all men.
Most
Yeah.
would, bro.
So the men who would find that revolting, what do you think they should do in 2025 when you just said there's not very many women who haven't had that?
Fine. I didn't say there's that many women that haven't had that. I'm saying that isn't necessarily
Well,
such a
then
high body
why-
count for some people. I didn't say every woman has that body
I didn't
count.
say every.
Well, then they should find somebody that doesn't have that body count. That's what they want.
What if okay, but what if it's the case that an overwhelming majority of women have that body count?
Exactly.
Then
Should they
men are
date
shit out
them?
of luck, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
So how are you helping them?
Preference? Then they won't find anyone to
So
date.
you're saying that if they have a preference against this, that they should just change their preference.
I didn't say that.
So what should they do?
What should they do?
If every woman is disqualified, then they're not going to date.
So if it is the case then that promiscuity increases in society, which that's what the trends are showing, you at least agree with that. Promiscuity, the trends show that has been drastically
Like I
increasing
said,
over the last 20 years.
How are you shaking your
I don't think
head?
it's that drastically different than it was when we were in college. So no.
What? Are you serious? There's literally videos of women in college. In college. There's guys who literally will go out, their whole, kind of content that they make is that they take a camera, they go out to college campuses, they go out to nightlife area next to college campuses, and they interview college girls out there on the street. And these girls, they are telling because they're saying it. They're telling the truth. You know it's the truth because it's so unflattering. Like no woman in her right mind would actually telling the truth. They're in school. They're in college and they're talking about smashing 10 dudes in a semester, having trains run on them. engaging in all kinds of sexual degeneracy. I was watching a video where one of the girls was saying, listen, people are in relationships, but really they're single. When you're in college, you're pretty much single because everybody is having sex with everybody. And they'll tell you the body count. I slept with this many guys. My first semester, I had a threesome with this guy and this guy. I was doing, bro. You know what? I'm gonna start doing some reactions to those videos. Maybe I'll do some live streams where I pull up those videos, those content creators, and we'll get into that. Because he seems to think that there's just a bunch of pure, virtuous women out here. Streets. The feminist narrative has been pushed, and it unfortunately was successful in telling a bunch of women that their virtue does not matter. Sleep with whoever you want. It won't have any consequences. Unfortunately, it was successful because they're doing that. The body counts are sky high. I personally, and I know it's anecdotal, but I'm not the only one who has, I've met women with body counts in the 30s. I've met women with body counts in the 50s, in the 60s. I know you probably think that's extreme. I could pull up the text messages of the conversations between me and these individuals. And would you believe me if I told you that the girl whose body count was in the 50s, when I met her, she was 18. Well, that's extreme. Okay. Well, why is it when we see these street interviews, I know some of you guys might be familiar with, what's his name? He calls it, It's Complicated. His channel's name is It's Complicated, and he does a lot of street interviews as well. And the women, when asked, like, what's a high body count? They'll say, like, 35. 35 is a high body count. 5 used to be considered a high body count. Now they have to reach 35 before they start viewing their promiscuity as potentially problematic. 35, maybe 20, maybe 40. I think 50 is a high body count. You'll hear these women out of their own mouths saying that is what's deemed as a high body count. That means anything lower than that is acceptable. That's not high. 20's not high. 15's not high. 10's not. Bro, that's insane. You gave that many men sexual access and you want men to respect you? You want men to take these women seriously? That's insane.
Okay. You don't think that you don't think like OF has increased since you were in college?
That doesn't necessarily mean they're banging a bunch of other dudes. Porn has been around for a long time.
Yeah, but the thing is the
not like it is
individualized
today.
form of it has not.
Yeah, but they're often with their own partners and stuff, so it doesn't matter.
They're
Them, like, it's been around,
not even
dude.
close to the
It's
same
been
rates,
around,
dude.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not the same thing. Porn was definitely its own isolated industry. And we knew if you stepped into porn, there was like, okay, you're over there, everybody else is over here. You've crossed a morality line that you can't come back from. Now, every other girl, and they don't see the imaginary line that there has been crossed. They want to remove the line completely, where you can engage in this kind of content and still qualify for a relationship. A man who's going to protect and provide and be a traditional man to you, even though you were as non-traditional woman as possible, busting it open for men on the internet. Women are 1000% advocating for pornography and for women to be able to engage in sex work and still be able to engage in traditional relationships. So it's 1000% not the same as back in the day. Not even close.
It's been around.
Do you ever think we've been in a situation like with Zoomers where it could be as many as 1 in 10 women do porn ever?
Okay.
Ever?
Job who do OnlyFans. Outside of work, I know another person who does, all these are women, who does OnlyFans. So, it's not the same. Like, most people back in the day did not know a porn star, did not know a person who was making pornographic content. They just weren't around. You knew exactly who those individuals were because there were so few of them, especially so few popular ones. Now, every other girl is an amateur, like, porn star. I know 3 in my personal life, actually 4 in my personal life, who have an OnlyFans. So, I'm just one person, bro. And I know 4 porn stars, if we want to use that term, amateur porn stars. That's not normal. That's not normal. And these individuals, they still want relationships. That's what men have to deal with.
Those are OF people. That doesn't mean general women. There are average people getting married every day, Andrew. It's not.
Marriage is decreasing.
But it's still average people get married every day. Even if they're decreasing.
Listen,
yeah.
it happens.
So
And
people
listen,
are finding these people that are on OF.
I agree that you should be going for good marriages, but
Why
here's
not?
where our problem. You should be going for good marriages, but here's my problem. My problem is when we get into the preferences of men. When you say we should be looking for alternatives. Let's have alternatives to red pill for men who have preferences. I disagree with you, and I think body count matters to men in a big way.
To some men, yes.
Yeah, and I want
To
know
most men.
what you would tell those men to do. What would you tell them to do?
If they're religious, they probably can find somebody in their church. People are dating and getting married. There's probably
Bruh. What did I just say about college? College is where most of the sexual degeneracy happens. They finally get away from their parents. They get away from home. There's not like a scrutinizing eye on them all the time. They get to go to the dorm rooms and go party. They're finally of age to go drinking and get into clubs. Bro, the guy friend that I was telling you about who goes out every week, at least twice a week, and hits the club scene to get women. Who do you think he's sleeping with? Majority of them are women in college. College-aged women. Early 20s, mid-20s. He dates older women as well, but mostly younger, early 20s and mid-20s. So these women are, and he's smashing, bro. He's smashing. He's running through chicks. Bro, college? Find a woman in college? That's like asking to find a high body count. That's like the place to go if you're into high body counts. Holy crap.
younger women out there that if you date them,
What about
there's a lot
the
of people that get
30-year-olds?
married. What about the 30-year-olds? They're not all. I mean, they don't necessarily. Not all women have high body counts. So I don't. But you make it
Bruh.
sound like they do because that's still like your shtick. That's what you do is
Yeah.
make men think that all women are
No, most women are 25. They've had at least 3 sexual partners. At least by the
maybe three.
At least 3.
I'll grant 3.
At least 3.
Why are they lowballing it so much? Why? 3, 25, 3 in this society where women. Oh my gosh. This is so. I wouldn't even say at least 5, but at least 5. That's even lowballing it. But at least say 5. 3. Bro, they have 3 before they hit 18. Women start having sex at around like 14, 15. So by the time they hit 18, you think they've only had 1. He had 5. By the time you meet her at 22, 23, she's like at 10. Bro, what word? But you know what it is? He's not dating. I can already tell he has this perspective because he's not dating. I was on the dating scene for quite some time, and I do content like this, so I'm like still in the pool, and in some way. This guy's out of touch if he thinks that the average woman is running around with 3 bodies. That's insane.
Grant 3.
Yeah. So at least 3.
I don't say at least. I'll grant 3.
You'll grant 3, but
Yeah.
you won't grant 5.
I can go to 5.
Okay, 5. And don't you think that
Disgusting.
once you start getting into those numbers, we're in like high body count territory for a lot of men?
It depends on what their preference is. I have no idea.
If their preference is that they don't want a woman who's slept with 5 men before them or had, and remember this too, a lot of these times you're sleeping with these women are sleeping with these men, they're long-term relationships, right? So you think that if men have legitimate preferences against all that baggage, right? You think they should be alone?
No, I think they should find somebody that doesn't have that baggage if that's what matters to
do
them.
you think that there's enough of those out there for the amount of men?
I do.
Oh, you do, and you
No.
think that those women want those men? Question.
Well, it answers your question.
So then,
There's a reason why passport bros exists, is because there's not a lot of women who meet men's requirements. So much so that we have to absolutely we have to literally relocate to a different dating pool so that we can find women who are more traditional, who actually meet the standards that men have. Because the West is just matter. They're not religious, so just do whatever you want. And they're gonna sexual degeneracy, being promiscuous, dressing like a hoe, all of that pushed heavily. So men have to literally move to a whole nother country to find women who have the traits that they're looking for. So no, it's not easy to find that. That's why I stopped dating, bro. I stopped taking women serious for 2 years because I was like, well, what's the point? If I want something serious, if I'm looking for an actual woman worth dating, but most of these women aren't worth dating, then why am I giving them commitment? I don't need to commit to them to realize that they're not worth committing to. Red Pill has showed me the traits, has showed me the attributes, has showed me the lifestyles of women that are not worth committing to. And I have my personal experience, so I can tell. Also, the Bible tells me which women aren't committing to, and these women are showing all of these red flags. So I just stopped committing to women altogether. About 2 years. Because what's the point? Just to date her, just to find out, oh, slept with 15 dudes. But what's the problem, though? Are you insecure? I'm just not going to commit because I'm tired of having those conversations. I got tired of meeting a girl, getting my hopes up, thinking, okay, hopefully this one seems, not as bad as the others. Hopefully, she has some virtue, she has some purity. You date her and start getting information out of her, and you realize, oh, you're just like all the other ones. Literally no different. You're just faking purity. I made a video on one of my live streams. One of my first live streams was how women fake purity to get men in relationships. And that's something I noticed from dating a lot of women, is how they fake purity. And I have a method that I use to get to the root of who they actually are by getting them super comfortable and getting them to just, once you, number one thing, non-judgmental. You can't be judgmental. You got to make her feel safe and you're not judging her. You create that atmosphere, you can get her to open up about anything. And I know how to do that very well by, saying certain things and asking certain questions and giving off a certain vibe. And then you just, on one of the dates, either the first date or the second date, create that environment. Usually not the first date, it doesn't work because she's on edge and she's really trying to sell herself as the virtuous, pure woman who isn't ran through in uniform and pretend to be all, prim and proper. And I don't even go to the club, and I don't do this and I don't do that, and I'm not a hoe and I don't sleep on the first date. Go on the second date, go on the third date, create the environment, non-judgmental, and then get her to open up. And then you realize, oh, wow, you're just like all the other chicks. You do sleep around. You are promiscuous. You engage in city girl lifestyle. How you think relationships should be run and how they should operate. After having those experiences of having a girl that I would think that I hoped, very hopeful, was going to be different, and then realizing, oh man, just another act. I just yeah, man, I'm sick. I'm tired of dating. I'm tired of committing. I'm tired of this. So I just stopped taking women seriously. I stopped searching. And it wasn't on flags that it was I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't ignore it. I didn't even want to date seriously, but there was just so many green flags that she had that it's I had to look into it. I had to at least give it a shot, and I'm glad that I did. But prior to that, man, I was just I'm done giving them commitment. It's just don't call women hoes, bro. So many hoes. I'm sorry.
How come you think that these incels can't find the women which are based around their preferences then?
I think a lot of people either stay in their house and don't get out. They don't meet people. They don't ask people out in high school. They don't ask people out in college. I think that's a big problem with men today is that they're not asking women out. I think that's a big issue.
Okay. What do you consider a marriageable woman for the average man? What is marriageable
I can't
to you?
prescribe that.
He
I have
has no
idea.
prescriptions. He doesn't know.
Well, what do you think the average man would consider marriageable?
He doesn't know.
Oh, someone they really enjoy being around. I don't know. That's what I think they're looking
Wow.
for.
Well,
Wow.
there's going to be some things that you would agree with me. They have to be like they probably have to be attracted to them,
Sure.
right? A trait like that, they probably have to be attracted.
Sure.
So
But attraction comes in many ways.
Well, they'd have to probably be physically attracted to each other, right?
To some degree, but personality and humor can win a lot of people over.
Yeah, but do you still?
I don't care how funny you are. If you have a high body count, sweetheart, you better hit the door. Personality, I don't care how sweet you are. If you had a threesome or had a train ran on you, you better hit the door. I don't care. That's not winning me over. If you're not submissive, if you're not traditional, I don't care how funny or nice you are. Because I already know it's going to come to an end anyway. No, things need to be in place. There's certain specific things men are looking for in a relationship.
Have to be attracted to a person to want to fuck them.
There's a lot of average people that get married every day, Andrew.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not attracted to the other people.
Okay,
So
but they could be
attraction would still be
They could
key.
be attracted beyond physical looks. It happens all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is like it's really hard for man's. We need to get hard if you're not physically
It's really
attracted.
not.
It's not.
It's really not.
So if you're not, so you fuck women you're not physically attracted to?
I'm saying most men find most women attractive.
You think that men fuck women they're not attracted to?
I think they find most women attractive.
Yeah. So like, so you think?
Just because a man will sleep with a woman doesn't mean he finds her necessarily attractive. He'll just do it for the sexual access. Men sleep with women they would never commit to all the time. It's standard operation. This girl might not even be his type. He might not even find her super attractive. But he'll still knock it down. You know why? Because sex is sex. He doesn't find her pretty in the face, but she got a big ass or a big butt or big boobs, nice thighs, but her face is like he'll still have sex with her. So like that doesn't mean anything. Men are aroused by the sexual potential that he could get. Just the thought of being able to sleep with her is enough to get him aroused. But that doesn't mean he finds her attractive. He finds the prospect of sleeping with her attractive, and he will, if you asked him if he would ever want to date that girl or take her seriously, he would look you dead in the eye and say absolutely not.
Then that like that men can just will themselves to fuck unattractive women?
It's called a slump buster.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men find a lot of women attractive.
And do you think they want long-term relationships with those women?
Yes, because they get married every day.
No,
Average
they
people get
don't,
married
bro.
every day.
Average doesn't
No,
mean
they
you're
don't.
not attracted to them, though. You keep on you're making a conflation.
Yeah, because
so
I'm
like they
saying-
have to be attracted at least, right?
Sure, there has to be some attraction, but
Yeah.
again,
Some physical attraction.
sure.
There has to be physical attraction in order for a man to take a girl seriously. It doesn't have to be necessarily physical attraction for a man to just smash a chick. I mean, there has to be like something there. As long as she has a big butt, maybe big boobs, decent face. So there'll be some dudes who like the body is terrible. The girl's fat and overweight, but he'll like her face is decent enough to like get oral sex from. Literally, guys will compartmentalize women like that. But would he ever take her seriously? No. Her face is just like pretty enough to get head from. He wouldn't even want to like actually have sex with her. He has I don't know if he is unaware of how men think. Maybe because he's just so feminine. He just is like so on the other side of the spectrum that he just doesn't understand the way the man's mind works. So yes, a man absolutely needs to be attracted to the woman to commit to her. Not necessarily to knock it down for a night, but to commit to her, absolutely.
Okay. And do you think that there's like, I don't know, an obesity epidemic?
Sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so doesn't that lower the rates of attractiveness?
Maybe, but aren't the 600-pound ladies that married? Like,
Be very unattractive men as well, right?
they're attracted to them. So what does it matter?
No, they're not always attracted to each other.
So they got married just for what?
No. Sometimes it happens in the marriage,
Okay.
right? Sometimes it happens in the marriage. They
The
literally
point is-
grow apart.
The point is, people can find other people attractive. People want to spend their lives with people, but you don't want to push that message.
No, what do you mean? I'm just talking about basic laws of attraction. Do you at least agree there has to be a trait of attraction?
Sure, but if 600
Yeah.
if 600-pound people can find a partner, then I think a lot of people can find a partner.
1 second. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
All good. Quit on YouTube. Guys, if you're watching, help us help us peak at 10,000.
So anyway, yeah, so back to this. So we agree that there's at least one trait. Are there any other traits for marriageable women?
Sorry, repeat the question. I'm not really sure.
We
what you're
agree there's
asking.
at least one trait. There has to be attraction. Is there any
For
other
men,
traits?
you're saying men need to find a woman attractive. That's one of the criteria.
It's, well, at least one we could agree on. There has to be attraction.
Some attraction, yes.
Okay, what else for a marriageable woman?
I think if they enjoy being around the person, I think that's a big personality, humor, like same interests. I think those are a big factor.
Bruh. There are women that men enjoy being around that they would never wife up. He did, like, bro, you have to understand that there's two groups of women. There's women that are qualified for sex, and there's women that are qualified for a relationship. And there's a line that just, the two don't cross over in a man's mind. So yeah, a guy can like hanging out with a chick. She might be super cool. I like hanging out with her. But she's a hoe. She might have a good personality. A lot of hoes are like funny and they're like down to earth. I'm being so serious. Like, a lot of hoes are the ones who are most chill, down to earth, easy to talk to, easy to vibe with, those 100%. Like, I would even say, like, great personalities, a lot, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but some of them. But she's still not worthy of being a wife. Like, that is not the ultimate qualifier that a man would look at. He was like, yeah, man, I love hanging out with this chick. I like spending time with her. I would even, hang out with her outside of just sex. Maybe go watch a movie with her. Chill at her place, watch anime, or do something. And I liked sleeping with her as well. But she's a hoe. I would never take her seriously. Men compartmentalize women the same way women compartmentalize men into, guys who they'll sleep with and guys who they'll friend zone. There's women we'll sleep with and women will never take seriously. And then there's women that we will take seriously.
Yeah, okay. So they enjoy each other's company. What else?
I don't know. They have similar values.
Similar values.
They agree on similar household duties, things like that.
Okay, so I agree. I would say that one you nailed right there. Similar values is the thing that I hear the most from both men and women.
Yeah.
Right? Similar values.
Yeah.
So if you were to, like, I don't know, ask a woman, for instance, about her political takes, and they were completely the opposite of yours.
Yeah.
Right? You probably wouldn't want to be with that woman.
Probably not. And you probably shouldn't.
So, like, if you thought, for instance, that women shouldn't vote, it seems like it's a pertinent dating question now.
No, I'm saying
No?
that in red
How is
pill.
it?
So, I honestly apologize because I was not looking at the chats at all. I just started live streaming, so I was not paying attention to the chats. Kind of forgot that was a thing, to be honest with you. But I will make sure to correct that in the future. But I do have a question that was sent in from Joshua Webble. And he asks, I'm guessing that's a he. So it says, so you evaluate / devaluate human beings. I'm not sure I understand the question you're asking, sir. So you evaluate / devaluate human beings. Not sure what you mean by that. If you're still watching, you can perhaps, clarify what you mean by that. I'll try to answer what I think you mean. Do I evaluate human beings? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And If you're asking if I assess their worth, yes, I also do. And I don't shy away from that because I don't pretend to be non-judgmental. I am judgmental, and most people are judgmental, but they try to pretend as though they don't. We all do, especially when it comes to choosing a partner. I evaluate the woman, and I see how she lives her life. I see how she dresses. I see the friends she hangs out with. I see the lifestyle that she's lived up until I've met her. She's been promiscuous, how she speaks, how she communicates. Does she swear a lot? Yeah. Does she have tattoos, piercings, bull ring, gauges, all that? I evaluate her, absolutely. I'm not one of these far greater evaluators than even men. Far more strict, and they don't shy away from it. So why should I? And I've never have, and I've never understood people being afraid to evaluate or say that they evaluate. So yeah, I do. And when I make that evaluation, some are lower value than others. I'll just say it like that. Some are lower value than others, and that's life. If that's not, if I didn't answer your question correctly, and you're still in the chat, please go ahead and clarify exactly what you were asking me with that.
No.
The only people who think women shouldn't vote are red pill people. So I'm saying if they can get out of the red pill community, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
think
but
like
you
that.
just said that preferences are a thing which are completely fine, and you have no problem with anybody's preferences about anything.
Okay, yeah. If these people similar values, if they're like, hey, I don't think women should have the right to vote, or I don't think women should work, then yeah, go ahead and whittle those people out of your life. Go for it.
So just to make sure, right?
Yeah.
You think that if it's your preference, that you shouldn't be with women like that.
What percentage of the
So
population? What percentage of the population
according to
do you think?
it's the red pillars, and
Yeah.
those are the men you're trying
I
to
said
save.
they're the only ones.
Yeah,
that might
and aren't
think
those
that.
the men you're trying to save?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but if their preference is to have these types of women,
but why do you
how
think
are you
they
going to
don't-
save them?
Why do you think they don't want women to vote?
Well, I think that they have good justifiable reasons for why they don't want anybody to vote.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Well, like I said, those are all the things that would make somebody, I think, viable. Then they find somebody. Your wife doesn't care about voting, right? You found somebody.
yeah, I did. Do you
Yeah,
think
so
that
other
there's a
people
lot
can
of
too.
my wives out there?
I don't think there's a lot of yous out
Definitely
there.
not.
Well, but there's a lot of red pillars, right?
Yeah, but I don't think every single red pillar thinks they shouldn't vote. The women shouldn't vote. You you landed on that somehow,
So?
and you found
Yeah.
somebody who agrees with you.
Yeah.
So
Well, no,
I have hope.
she convinced me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have hope that other guys can too. Then.
Okay, so repeal the 19th movement.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if they find women that agree, good for them. I hope they do.
But they don't. But they probably won't, right?
Okay. Well, then they're going to be alone then.
So then you don't really care about the loneliness of red pillars. You just want them to change their preferences.
No, I
to
didn't
meet,
say that.
To meet your preferences.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of red pillars that might change their whole belief system after getting out of
Okay,
it.
go ahead. Change my belief system.
I didn't say I'm gonna
Why
change
is
your
it that
belief
red
system.
pillars should get with women who want the right to vote?
I didn't say that. That's not
So
what I'm
you have
saying.
no prescriptions.
I-
you have no fucking prescriptions.
Listen.
It's like talking. Listen. No,
Listen.
you listen.
No, you listen. You've
Give
been
me
talking-
a fucking prescription.
I'm not
I
giving
just
you a
talked to you like that.
prescription.
What are you going to fucking do about it? Nothing. Yeah, you heard me.
He with no answers and no solutions. That's literally what he boils down to. He's just here to say, don't do this. Okay, what do I do instead? I don't know. So you basically just want to leave men lost. Just lost. At least they found something that they feel they can resonate with, that they feel is helping them. And a lot of men do get help. A lot of men wish they found this sooner because they would have made different choices with the woman that they chose and avoided, women that, did them dirty or were just destructive to their mental health. They wish they found this content earlier. So what do you say to those men? You tell them, drop that and then pick up what? Useless. No answers, no solutions.
You fucking heard me. You're not going to do shit. Not going to do shit.
What are you trying to
Now
do
back
here?
to this.
What are you trying to do here?
Nothing. Yeah, you wanted to come hard. We're doing it, right?
Well, coming hard by what? That is some
Oh, yeah.
insecurity because I wasn't saying anything about that shit.
Now, are you going to engage here or not? Repeal the 19th?
I don't think we should.
Got it. If you had a preference for it,
Uh-huh.
okay, and a woman didn't, probably shouldn't date, right?
Right.
That would make it a legitimate dating question.
But
wouldn't
that doesn't. But that's not what you just said. You said I don't care about red pillars because if they can't find a woman that
yeah, you want them to conform to your
things
preference
anymore.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Which would conform to
To what?
your preferences.
I didn't say anything about my preferences. Out of the
I'm
red-
sorry.
if the red
Do you
pill
think that if
community-
all these red pillars adopted your preferences,
No.
like they don't care about
I
body
don't give a
counts?
shit about my preferences. Who cares about my preferences?
Okay.
If they can't find a
So
woman,
then
hold on. If
give
they
me
can't,
any.
listen, if they can't find a
Give me
woman,
any.
if they can't find a woman that
Yeah.
doesn't match their preferences,
Yeah.
they get out of the red pill because
Okay.
it's not working for them. They might change their beliefs. I'm not prescribing a preference.
So-
I'm prescribing getting out of the red pill. That's what I'm
Okay, so
prescribing.
can you, no, that's just
Not an
listen.
alternative. That's not an
It's like
alternative.
saying this. Your car is shit. Great, but I need to drive to work. Can you tell me an alternative car? No.
That's not the same thing. I'm
Same.
saying
It is
no,
the same
it's not.
thing.
Okay, take the blue pill then. How about that?
Okay, what's the blue pill?
It's the complete opposite of the red pill.
Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything. What
okay,
is it?
well, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay, they'll
Oh
figure
my
it out.
gosh.
Never any prescriptions at all.
No,
Useless.
because I'm not coming here to prescribe anything but getting out of the red pill. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
but
doing.
don't you understand that unless you give prescriptions for why that is?
Because it's not helping them. That's why.
Yeah, but you won't even tell us what the standard of helping them is. What is it?
If they're unhappy with the current situation they're in because of the communities they're listening to, get out of it.
Then-
That's-
They're not unhappy because of the red pill. They're unhappy because of the pool of women they have to choose from. The red pill is just acknowledging and making some men who are unaware aware. Some men are in crappy relationships and they're unaware that the horrible treatment they're getting is widespread. Some men have no tools and no information on how to get out of their situation, how to actually speak to women, how to actually, be being able to hold frame and, lead a relationship. This is very useful stuff that women actually find attractive. I wouldn't have gotten as much women as I have if I didn't know this information, because there was a period of time where I was like most men and I did not know what a woman wanted or how to, convey my masculinity in a way that women found attractive. I didn't know. I didn't have the tips. I didn't have the tools. I was clueless. When I came into this space, well, really, I started learning this stuff when I started looking into cold approach pickup, because cold approach really gets to like female nature and what they actually respond to. So while I didn't know a lot of red pill perspectives, I knew what women actually wanted, because when it comes to cold approach, you got to do what works or you're not going to get what works. And what you tend to find when you do a lot of cold approach is that what you were taught that about what women are attracted to is actually the opposite. And that's where you start learning about the dark nature of female sexuality and the female mind and arousal and how they're into the darker side of things. But so that's where I started to become aware that, oh, what I was taught and what actually works is different. It wasn't until I got into the red pill where the switch like made sense. It was like, oh, like here's a whole system that explains why there's a difference between what women say and what they actually are attracted to. And that's when everything clicked, and I knew it to be true because of the cold approach that I was doing and what I was actually getting when it came to results, applying what women respond to as opposed to what they were saying. So that's how I knew red pill to be true, and what it skyrocketed even more after coming to that realization.
Tell us
trying to
what
say.
the alternative community they'll be happy in
First,
is.
throw up the red pill. That's the first step.
Oh my God!
Then we'll figure
if you're
it out
not
from
happy
there.
with your shitty car, then just get rid of the car. Well,
Okay.
what do I get in? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yep.
Stupid.
It's so stupid. Yeah.
It is.
It's
you,
so dumb.
You have no alternatives.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
No prescriptions.
Keep prescribing the red pill then. Keep prescribing
Bro,
it. It's working for them.
I prescribe Christian ethics.
You also prescribe the red pill.
No, I just say that there's things about the red pill. You asked me a specific narrow question. Has it done more good or more bad? I think it's done more bad. That doesn't mean it's a prescriptor that I prescribe, because I also understand it does more good than bad.
Okay, well, you personally don't, but the communities themselves do, and the content creators do.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with literally fucking
It
anything?
has to do with what I came here to do.
Oh, okay. What did you come here to do again?
To try to convince as many red pillars to get out
Do
as
you
possible.
think you're doing that?
I don't know. Maybe some people are listening.
Bro, you failed miserably. One, you just sat up here on the internet in front of thousands of people and said you wouldn't care if a chick smashed 2,000 people. You would wife her up and take her seriously. You said he asked you if your chick was sucked off 20 dudes at the same time, if you would still take her seriously. You said, yeah, if I love her. You also sat up there and said that you don't care if your arguments make sense. You also said F logic. You said a lot of things that men are just not going to be in alignment with. So, yeah, no, I don't think you're winning anybody over. And on top of that, you don't have a solution. Like, back when I was younger, my mom would often like point out bad habits that me and my siblings had, whether it was, leaving our clothes on the dresser, or, leaving our shoes where it didn't belong. And what my mom would do is that she would not just tell us what we were doing wrong, but she would also point out what we should do instead. My mom was always about like breaking bad habits, and she taught us, hey, listen, I'm not just going to tell you what you're doing wrong, because you can't just stop the bad habit and not replace it with something. You must replace the bad habit with something else. Something else needs to take its place, and that's the good habit. So I'm not just going to tell you don't leave your clothes on the dresser, because then you could just start leaving the clothes on the bed. Just one bad habit replaced with another. No, I'm going to tell you don't put it on the dresser. Get into the habit of taking your clothes off and putting it directly in the dresser, or directly hanging it up immediately. You can't tell people no alternative. That's foolish. People need an alternative. Otherwise, they're just going to replace it with another bad habit. Now, I don't think the red pill is a bad thing, but I'm just using that as an example that if they stopped the red pill, they would just go to something else. And that something else still might not be in alignment with what you were hope they would do. So tell them what they should do after they stop the red pill, but you don't have solutions. No answers. No solutions.
Think you're doing that?
I don't know. Maybe some of them might say, you know what, it isn't working for me. I'm going to get out. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
You would have been better coming in with a pro-Christian ethics message, because that actually gets them out of the red pill.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it does it a lot better.
Yeah.
That's why Muslims do a good job recruiting out of the red pill manosphere. It's why Christians do a good job. Secularist atheists who say, no, I don't give a shit if a woman's fucking plowed 100 guys. I'd still be with her anyway. That just turned off every motherfucker who is watching this, I promise.
Well, that's fine. But if it is going to Christian ethics and that gives them a happier life and they're not depressed and they're not incels, then hey, go for it.
Okay.
That's a prescription.
Wait a second. So maybe we can agree here. Should red pillars go towards Christian ethics?
I'm not prescribing that, no. But if it helps them, go for it.
Then that would be a prescription.
No, it's not. There's several things they can turn to that aren't Christian ethics. But if that is one of them, I'm not saying that I don't know, but I'm saying there are other alternatives. If Christian ethics is one, if you said, if religion in general is one.
Alternatives, what I got here.
If religion
There's
is
other
one,
alternatives.
Yeah, there's several people that live their lives in a secular way that aren't depressed and incels. There's several ways you can live a secular life that doesn't necessarily have this hard and fast philosophy that you believe in. There are people that can get out of it and choose a different path. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, all you're offering up is more feminist degeneracy.
Yeah, degenerate.
It is degenerate.
I'm not
completely
promoting
degenerate.
any sort of degeneracy.
What your worldview leads to is cohabitation and single motherhood and degeneracy. That's all it ever leads to.
And what red pill content leads to is depression. And red pill content leads to depression, and it leads to loneliness, and it leads to anger.
Here's the thing. If you have to do the alternative spectrum, where we follow your view for cohabitation, we already know what that does to men, and it's way worse than if they never get married or if they do get married. We know it for sure.
Okay.
And your worldview, your secularist fucking worldview, feminist worldview, is what led us to this in the first place. It was the erosion of religion, the erosion of Christian ethics, the erosion of having a patriarchal society.
Absolutely.
We used to have 95%. 95% they stayed intact. Thanks, man. Oh, now you care about them so much.
95% what?
Oh, marriages used 95%.
Because women were legally and economically trapped in marriage.
You think this is a better system?
Yes.
Okay, well then why do you say you care about these men?
Yes.
You want them to be free of the red pill?
Correct.
Then why'd you put them in a fucking society where they needed it?
Okay,
so true.
Yeah, they needed it because of
so
feminism.
True.
You're right. Blame women every chance you get. Blame women every chance you get, Andrew.
Did I blame women or did I blame an ideology?
Okay, it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
It's the same
you
thing,
just don't
and you know it.
understand how to debate. You don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So again, this whole society, we had all of the things that you're prescribing. Men's health, really good. Women's health, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
And now, not so much.
Yeah.
Thanks to you fuckers.
Yeah, thanks to us.
So you want them to do the exact same shit. Same shit.
Yeah.
Cohabitate, have kids, let the woman take over when it comes to abortions, right? She can kill your kid, not kill your kid, totally up to her. You fucking deal with it. And if she has a high body count, just get over that preference.
Yeah, if the red pill's working
Fucking
for you,
brilliant,
if the
bro.
red pill's working for you, keep
Oh
it.
my
If it's
God.
not, get the fuck out.
Well, it's working for me. It's definitely working for me, and I know it's working for a lot of men. It's working for a lot of men. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, especially since you don't even have any alternatives or any solutions, so there really isn't anything that you have to offer here. But it's the video's almost done, so we're going to go ahead and just wrap it up, see what else this guy with no answers and no solutions has to say, and then we'll wrap up the
here's
live
thing.
stream.
Your lifestyle doesn't. The lifestyle of secularism, which leads to degeneracy, is what forced society into this fucking play anyway. So
Make income,
yeah,
and
I
these
know.
men are just
I
upset
know.
about it. That's what it is. And the red pill was a good community for them to go to because they're
Yeah.
rejected and they're angry.
Yeah.
So the red pill is what it is.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with agency. It has to do with the understanding of virtues.
Oh yeah, it's virtues. That's the issue.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, man, I
Well,
wish
you
I
think
was-
you think that gender is nebulous. In fact, everything is nebulous. So when you say masculine or you say feminine, those are nebulous terms to you. But the thing is like masculinity is not a nebulous term. It's always been associated with virtue.
Yeah,
the
the world
same
changes.
as femininity, feminine virtues and masculine virtues.
the world changes.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like that forcing of the progressive ideology, exactly what got us here.
The
And
idea-
all you're prescribing is more progressive ideology.
Yeah, the idea that women wanted to, be lawyers and they couldn't 55 years ago. Yeah. We're forcing
no.
it down.
Oh, my God.
We're
Instead,
forcing
they
it.
took care
We're
of their own
forcing it.
children.
We're forcing it. We're forcing it
Oh
down
my
your
God.
throat.
Oh my.
Bro, the only thing he's advocating is that men just man up and wife these hoes. That's basically what it boils down to. Women are progressive now, and if they have all these rights and they can make their own money and all this other feminist nonsense. And as a byproduct of that, they have lost all the things that a man would make a man want to commit to a woman long term. So since they lost all these values, it's like men don't want to engage in relationships anymore. But his solution is want to submit to you, man up and wife the woman with a high body count, man up and wife the woman with the feminist mindset and views and ideology, who will kill your kids if she wants to. That's no problem. Who's a boss babe, who's going to be off working her high-powered job and not raising the kid. They'll be in daycare. Tolerate that. Just man up and give the women who don't have anything that you want what they very long live stream. But you know what? It is what it is. It's chill. Thank you for all who tuned in and for all who will be watching it later. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to be live streaming more often now, so get used to seeing my face because I will be back hopefully daily. That's what I'm going to try to do daily. They probably won't go for as long as I've done it today, but I had the day off today, so I want to just really, get into the live streaming, get back into the swing of things. And yeah, it's just a very interesting debate, but unfortunately, ultimately pointless because he had nothing to offer, nothing of no substance, just empty words. Get rid of the red pill, but I have nothing else to offer myself. Just leaving men lost, wandering. Men are already lost, and that's why they were like just sick of dating. That's why they stopped dating. The red pill gives them at least a sense of direction on how to vet women, what to look for, what not to look for, which ones are good, which ones are bad. Here's tips and tools so you can get to the truth of who she really is, what she's hiding under the surface. I'm gonna make some more videos about that. If you guys don't know how to get the truth out of a woman, I'm gonna make a dedicated video, probably a live stream, where we get into how to do that, because it's important to get a woman to open up so you can get the truth out of her. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you got value from it, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know how the video quality was and the audio quality was. I've just started live streaming again, so I want to make sure that the quality is up to it's up to par and everything is sounding clean. So let me know about that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, guys.